Hola, 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 senors and senoritas on my bilingual shit this evening. Welcome to Outlaw Radio.
You must be talking to the Mexican homeboy again, having a couple beers.
Talking ish, man, on a Wednesday evening. The one and only show we'll do this week, simply because we took off for the holiday, which was Monday. So happy Memorial Day to you. I hope you and yours had a great time. My name is Kevin Barnes. I am the host of Outlaw Radio, the militant with a microphone, the mouthpiece of the movement, aka the Negro Whisperer, also known in some circles as the world-class smartass. So welcome to the show, man. I hope you enjoy my little foundational Black American platform and the topics that we approach, which are consistently and constantly topics that are relevant and pertinent to the Black community, the foundational Black American community, if you will. So if it matters to Black people, it's going to be discussed on Outlaw Radio. I do have the fact checker himself here with me tonight, Mr. Ian C. Jordan. What it do, homie?
Man, nothing much, man. Same old, same old. Like I said, man, everybody, please like and share the show. I told y'all I be going down these rabbit holes, and I be looking for similar type platforms. And like I said, now I'm a certified Google AI fundamentalist, and I really be searching for this kind of stuff, and I don't see it. And I've been looking, but I really don't see it. A lot of people are bought and paid for, and a lot of FBA platforms are dominated by the Democrat Party. And as Kevin always says, we are the party poopers. So there you go. That's it.
Absolutely. It's always a lot going on, in particular with politics. So we never run out of stuff to discuss. We're going to talk about some of that stuff tonight, much to my chagrin, because as you know, I get annoyed by these conversations a lot
I'm
because
with
of
you.
I feel like there's no point to it. So a lot of
Nope.
times it's a waste of time, and I hate to waste my time. If you like the show, if you just are this your first time tuning in, or if you watch regularly, you know that it's Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, until whenever. It can go until 10, it can go until 11. It can honestly go
Yes.
until whatever time we choose to cut the machine off. So just depends on how the conversation flows. But if you want to know how to access the show, you can go to my government page, which is Kevin Barnes.
Sure.
There's an Outlaw Radio Facebook page, and then there's a YouTube page, the Peoples with a Z Network. We're also on TikTok as the People's Network. And I don't really use Twitter or Instagram much. We are on as the People's Network on Instagram as well, but I typically don't use those platforms. So it's a bunch of different ways to watch the show. I want to start off by saying, Ian, how was your holidays, man?
Man, the holiday was excellent, man. I had some fun. I had some fun I'll speak on, and then I'll have other fun that I can tell you off air. But it was yeah, it was. I had a really good time. I had a really good time, man. You know what? I feel bad because I am not really into basketball like I should. Because I got a buddy who I always talk about, Jalen's dad. His son played for the Hawks, and I got another buddy that played for the Celtics. And this craze, not Jalen, because I think they lost to the Hawks. They lost to the Knicks in 5 games. But I got a buddy that played for the Celtics, and it just shows you sometimes how these brothers' brains work. I swear on everything I love. He said at midway through the season that the Knicks will win the championship. He halfway right. I called him today. I was like, bro, I said Spurs gonna beat them. He's like, nah, because they got that one kid. He's 7'7". And keep in mind, I don't watch, but I watched a couple highlights. And one of the things I liked about the kid, I guess his name is Wembley. Yeah, him. And he was just talking, man, he got involved a little bit, and he was talking a little bit of political stuff. I was like, oh, look at dude. And what brings me to everything is we always talk about how Giannis doesn't do a lot in the community. He don't talk about a lot of issues. And then you got that Frenchman. He just was comfortable talking about he don't like the way things are going. And he didn't mention no names. He didn't pick no sides. He just said what's obvious. He didn't like certain things. But yeah, man, my holiday was great, dude. How was yours? What did y'all do?
My holiday was smooth. I didn't do much. I put some pork on the grill, and just chill
Where
with the
Dion?
just chill with the family, man. Nothing much, nothing too crazy. Just like I said, just chilling with the fam, breaking bread, man, sitting around eating, relaxing. There
Oh
was
yeah.
no, I don't really. I'm past my days of being super social, so I don't have like people over at my house anymore like I used to
No.
have. I used to have people over a lot.
Oh yeah. Me too.
I typically don't engage in that anymore. So it's just me and the family, man, just chilling, man, just cooking and eating, man. That's all it was. But other than that, man, I was laid back, man, just paying attention to what's going on, thinking about, what the purpose of Memorial Day is and just enjoying it. I noticed that this is not one of those holidays that people get as upset about like others when black people celebrate them. I don't hear as many people on me as they are if it's the 4th of July or if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, right? Like it's always a group of people who are upset when black people celebrate holidays. So it wasn't really that, and I don't listen to them anyways. You know what I'm saying? But I did want to say that if you wanted to call into the show and participate in the conversation, the number is 262-202-5131. 262-202-5131. We also have a chat room. I see Brother Earl Henning in there. He said, "What it do, my brothers and sisters? Love us. Fuck Donald Trump and his friends." Right? What's up, Earl? How you doing, man? How you doing? Hope you had a good holiday. But yeah, man. So it was cool. I was chilling, man.
I,
That's
wa-
what I'm on
I,
most of
wa-
the
I wanted to add something. Now,
time.
I've had multiple people send this to me, and I fact checked it. It is up in the air. So let me break this down. You might not get the pushback on Memorial Day because there was a man by the name of General John A. Logan of the Grand Army Republic who was, I guess, initially established as the creator May 5th, 1868. But just like hockey, which is odd, and a few other things that have been taken over, according to the AI overview on Google, Memorial Day was created by newly freed Black Americans May 1st, 1860 freaking five. So
Okay.
it just depends, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of the reason because my mom told me that too. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've read a lot of different things and paid attention to a lot of different things. I had no idea that freed blacks created Memorial Day. But when she told me, did you think I was surprised? Nah. Just like I'm not surprised that we have the fountain pen we created. Gladys West created the GPS. Uh, Lisa Janopler created shockwave technology, which changed Hulu. And the woman that created VoIP phones was also a black person. So, not surprised. It just angers me a little bit, but at the same time, man, it is what it is. So, I love Memorial Day even more than I did before. I'm doing a big
Um,
thing next year.
it doesn't surprise me. I wouldn't be
No,
surprised, especially when we talk about the level of innovation on pretty much everything that black people have brought to this country. It doesn't surprise me.
not at all, dude. Not at all.
America is a stale cracker, no pun intended, without black people, right? Like we are pretty much the seasoning on every chip, right? We bring so much flavor to everything that we involve ourselves in. So even when it comes down to holidays, like it doesn't surprise me that's something that we
No.
invented or revolutionized, the participation in. So I have heard that before too. So you're
Yeah, I had
not
no idea.
who've heard it, who's heard that before. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me, man. So what do we have going on in the news? We can get into it a little bit. There is still tremendous blowback from the Kevin Hart roast,
Mm.
you know, and now Kevin Hart, he was on the Breakfast Club and he came and spoke out about how he felt about the jokes made by Heathcliff. How do you pronounce the name? Tony.
Tony Heathcliff, the fucking henchman, lynchman, the fucking Klansman. Fuck, dude. I hate dude. Yeah, I hate him, actually.
So I felt like I kind of agree with him on certain points about, and I said this before I even heard Kevin Hart's reaction, is that This was a roast, and typically comedic roasts are feel full of jokes that may hit below the belt, right? Like they're
Yeah.
sometimes very lowbrow humor. Sometimes there are jokes in there that you say, "Ooh, I don't know if that's funny," you know.
Lazy ass jokes.
But this is kind of like what they have been over the years, except for when you start to talk about something like George Floyd, you start to kind of punch black people into the emotional breadbasket because a lot of black people, it's still a very fresh wound when you talk about George Floyd. So, and then at this point in time in history, racial sensitivities are super, super high. Now, I understood Kevin Hart's kind of, he has to naturally, be a deflector. But I just felt like Kevin Hart should have been more along the lines of saying, first and foremost, let me say this was out of pocket. It wasn't funny. I don't
Thank you.
agree with the fact that he did it. And, I'll think twice before inviting him to something in the future. But I understand that they are both comedians and comedians are a fraternity. So I understand that Kevin Hart was cautious on how he really addressed the situation. You know what I'm saying? So, um, but I just felt like Kevin Hart should have done more to kind of let people know that this is not cool to do. Now, Kevin Hart is famous for going to George Floyd's funeral and supporting his family pretty thoroughly in the aftermath of the tragedy.
Yep.
So it's kind of crazy that he wasn't a little bit more adamant and a little, but he didn't think it was funny, but we kind of knew that he would have cut his own lifeline off had he gone after this dude, this white dude.
Exactly. And he want that white acceptance. Dog, I'm be honest with you, to keep it 100, I really don't like dude at this point. And I made a list. I put it on Facebook. That's what I'm looking for right now. And I'll take it a step further, bro. This is what I put on Facebook. I said the roast of Kevin Hart featured a prominent lineup of comedians who took the stage to skewer the actor comic at the Kia Forum. I'm just going to fast forward to everybody that was there. That motherfucking sellout Cat Williams, who I can't fucking stand because he loved to call out, quote unquote, the gatekeepers and all this stuff, man. But he didn't call out one Jewish CEO. He didn't call out one white Jewish director. Fuck him. He's a fraud. Cheryl Underwood, she should have got up and fucking left. Chelsea Handler said something afterward. Pete Davidson, I don't even know who the fuck he is, but the dude that be on, I guess he be on Saturday Night Live sometimes. I heard him in a Kanye song. Tony Hinchcliffe, we all know that he called Puerto Rico a floating piece of garbage in the RNC when Trump got, when he won or whatever. Big J Okerson, I don't even know who the fuck he is, and a whole bunch of other people. Usher was there. The Rock was there. Tom Brady was there. Lizzo, Jay Farrow, Gabriel Iglesias, and somebody named Hassan Minash. I would like to say from a lot of people that sound like me, fuck you. I won't. Oh, and Tiffany Haddish, I won't stream none of your shit, dude. I unfriended like that dude Desi. I think it's not Brooks. I forgot his last name, but it's a white chick. I think her name is Natalie Friedman. She worked for Kevin Hart. Unfucking followed all of them, dog. I can't stand it because in my opinion, anytime George Floyd jokes and lynching jokes start flying, you should walk the fuck out wherever you at, or you should have at least made a beeline to get up on the mic. If I was a comedian, I would have been like, yo, Tony, what the fuck did you say, dog? But no, we don't have that because we have these house niggas that want to get white acceptance. And there's nothing wrong with white people. When we say that as black people, for white people watching this, because I'm sure there are some white people that pay attention to the show. It's quite a few, actually. When we say white acceptance, it's basically saying that you're willing to sell your own race out to be accepted by people that don't look like you, that really don't like you, and just want to obtain the maximum profitability off of what you do. Kevin Hart, I could do it. And when I say never, I mean never. Like the UFC, you know how much I love combat sports. Bro, I ain't really watched that shit since Dana White came out publicly and started glazing President Trump. I don't care that you've been friends with him for 30 years. Fuck you. What are you talking about? This dude is running the country into the ground with a freaking Tesla Jupiter high speed. He's a freaking jerk off, dude. And I don't understand why these people act like this is politics. It isn't. You had, and then I also put in the post all the writers, they were all white. How funny is that? So you have to believe that it's something underlining there. Yeah, dog, I can't stand him, dude. Fuck his punk ass. For real. I do not like Kevin Hart, dude. I don't. I'm done. Done with his punk ass. Fuck dude. Sorry, I went on.
So no, it's cool. I hear your rant, but I think one of the most important things that you stated was that you in the future would not be supporting him or
At all.
some of the other individuals that were there. So here's the
None of them.
deal, like, and this is what I try to tell people all the time, as opposed to getting upset, being very visceral about your reaction and wasting a lot of emotion and energy, just don't support them anymore. Don't
No,
watch
I'm
their
done.
videos. Don't download their content. Don't watch their shows.
Don't watch
That
their
speaks more.
reels.
None of that.
None of it.
Any engagement that they, because it's all about engagement when you start to talk about social media and the internet. And so anytime their engagement drops, then they feel it. So a lot of those people who I feel like Cheryl Underwood, who she did kind of fire back about some things. She
Yeah.
she did kind of speak up a little bit, but
I like her a lot too, which bothered me. The fact that she didn't walk the fuck out.
yeah, I mean, it's like I
I
said, man.
like her a lot, dude. I'm a huge fan actually of Cheryl. I really am. That pissed
You
me
are
off.
you are also, not you personally, but any individual who goes to a comedic roast and walks out because they're offended
Yeah.
is forever looked upon as a super sensitive person. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
are
true
very
too.
sensitive. When they say it's a roast, if you don't know what roast is, go and look up some. Go
Oh
and
yeah.
watch some from the past. Go and just watch and see what kind of humor is used. And I'm not giving anybody a pass,
No, you're right.
not at all. But I'm trying to say it's like, certain events you go to and then you get offended. Like, you go to, you go to an adult movie and then you say it was nudity in it. I'm so offended.
True.
Adult movie,
That's so funny.
adult
Why was they
entertainment,
in there tongue kissing like that for 7 minutes? My baby was here.
that kind of thing. So I think you go to a horror movie and you say it was so violent. I couldn't
It's
take
so
it.
violent.
You went to see a horror movie. What were you thinking they were going to do? Hold hands and sing Kumbaya? So, this is one of those things where sometimes you get to choose what you laugh at, right? And understand, just because you think something is funny doesn't mean everybody else does, right? And people are going to have the right to speak how they speak. Um Cat Williams, as far as he goes, I think Cat Williams is a brilliant dude, but I think Cat Williams kind of has played himself, by I didn't because I
Yep.
don't think the momentum he built up through the Shannon Sharp interview, I don't think he
Yeah.
followed it up with enough funny.
No,
Like,
he
if he
didn't.
was
He just
gonna
went
if he
back
was
on
gonna
tour and
come
didn't do shit else.
if he was gonna come after that with a stand-up that was classic and legendary, or some tours that just had a bunch of just different Chappelle level kind of humor, I would have said, okay, that it was full circle. But I don't think he followed up with it.
He didn't.
I like Tiffany Haddish to a certain point until she starts kind of, bed winching for white dudes, because she's a little thirsty sometimes on screen for white boys,
Yeah.
which is very disheartening to me. But everybody
Kind
else, I
of
mean,
weird a little
people
bit.
trying
It's
to,
kind of weird a little bit though.
it's very strange to see. It's
Yeah,
very
it's
strange
weird.
to see. But like I said, everybody else, I feel like just people are just trying to come up. And like you said, there's a lot of white crossover attention that is paid to something like a roast like that when you have that kind of assortment. And I think a lot of those entertainers were there to say, hey, I got a chance to rub elbows with some important people, some shot callers, some gatekeepers, if you will, and this might be able to take my career to the next level. So, because Hollywood is all about networking, man. It ain't what you can do, it's who you know. So, that's why you see some people who you say, he not that talented. How's he in every damn movie? And then you see somebody who's super talented and you say, they never give him or her any good roles because you don't make the right connections. So, I'm there's so much more to pay attention to that I'm not going to allow this to distract me. Right. I'm so wrapped and tied up in the way things are, the nature of the twisted logic of the United States of America right now. I'm so wrapped up and tied up in that, looking at these attempted redistricting right ahead of the midterms, because we all know that the midterms were going to be a counterpunch for the Democratic Party to fight back against what I call republicanism, um, and
So,
Trumpism. And we know that they were going to lose a lot of traction. And so I feel like the redistricts and them redrawing maps and stuff like that is a blatant attempt, to strip people down. I see South Carolina has rejected Trump's initiative down there. Should I say the Republican initiative down there to redistrict some certain areas? But I look at that. I look at this bogus reparations that Trump awarded to the January 6th rioters, looters. Uh,
woo, that was bad. That was bad.
that is one of the most egregious slaps in the face that I've ever bore witness to in my entire life. And I wanted to say it's racist. I want to say it's racist, but I don't know that it's as racist as it is white nationalist, because I don't know how you could give these individuals any kind of leeway in any other fashion. Like, and we know that it's majority of white dudes, right? Crazy MAGA white dudes who did this. But it's just to show how much of a white nationalist Trump is. Not only to pardon a lot of them, which he did, but
Yes.
to award them with monetary compensation and say, well, you were mistreated. Like, they tried to take over the United States Capitol. Like, what are we talking about here? So I felt like backlash against Trump should have been louder behind this from his own constituents. Now, was I surprised that it wasn't? No, because we know that once you've sipped the Kool-Aid,
Oh yeah,
you're
they
under the
cowards.
spell. Yeah, they're
They
not
hey,
going.
they tripping on the slush fund though. But I talked to a guy, a buddy of mine. I'm gonna ask him if I can start saying his name, but he'll probably say no. He's a strategist. He told me, he said, dude, he said, I will bet you money. He's usually right about 80% of the time. He said, I will bet you dollars to donuts that motherfucking redistricting, he said, that's just not gonna work. I was like, what do you mean? And hold on, because I actually wrote it down. He said they're going to push people that were not in the districts before, these black voters, and they're just going to vote for opposite of whatever the white quote unquote conservatives want. So if there's a Republican that they really hate, this and this will happen, he said, in the next cycle. He said it just happened too soon this time, but he said wait till the next time. He's like, it's not going to go well. So he thinks that the Democrats are going to overwhelmingly win the 2028 election. I don't know about that, because I'm still, and people used to call me conspiracy theorist, and still, until these motherfuckers start doing what they're doing. The problem is that I personally do not think that there will be midterms to the tune of 100%. They already started doing shit in Louisiana where they stopped like 48,000 votes, and it was minuscule because they are controlling a big portion of the media right now. So a lot of this stuff is, unless you look for it, you're not going to find any of it. They've already started. Tina Peters was just the beginning in Colorado where she was tampering with the machines. So now you got Paxton over in Texas that got Massey out of there, right? If you look at this guy's rap sheet, this dude, what was one of the things that he got in trouble for within the Republican Party and chastised by his own party members? Oh, that's right. Ding, ding, ding. Freaking voter tampering and voter fraud. That's part of his convictions. And this is the guy that Trump endorsed. So we're not going to have midterms like that, bro. They're not happening. I don't care what anyone says. I've studied history too much. I know better. It's not going to happen. You're going to have, if a Democrat wins, it's going to be rigged. When a Republican wins, it's going to be like, see, we told you. These motherfuckers, bro, I think they traitors. And I don't want to go off on the even deeper tangent, because people got so mad. My Facebook page, my other one, got shut down because I said all of the rioters, by definition of treason, when you do terroristic acts, foreign and domestic, I think Trump is a traitor. And the penalty for treason is death. I really believe those people should have been executed. I really do. People are like, oh, you just being extremist. I'm like, no, I'm dead ass serious. They should have been executed. Ashley Babbitt shouldn't have been the only one. There is no way you can tell me that mob was going in there just to scare the Republican and Democrat politicians. No, they were going there to either kill them or very violently assault them. So yeah, man, this guy, dude, he is so dangerous at a level that, like you said, you've never heard of anything like what he's doing with the slush fund. Exactly. We will never see this again, by the way. But this guy has done so much stuff to where they can cover up all the money that they're making in Iran. Dude, his net worth has gone up exponentially, like 3.8 billion. This shit is wild. And I'm like, damn. And you have a couple people that will remain nameless that have come on this platform in the past and defended this motherfucker and tried to sell us on it. And then when we say that that logic is dangerous, people get mad at us for saying it. Man, KB, I don't know, man. What's your thoughts on that shit, dog? That's wild to me, KB. I don't understand it, bro. It's wild.
First, let me go to the chat room. I see Earl Henning. He was saying who's making the money off the holiday. Yeah, we know that. Black people may have invented it, but we know who's making the money, right? Unless you own a butcher shop, or unless you sell.
He said a butcher shop. That's so true.
Briquettes. You know, we know who's making the money, right? So
I didn't even think about that.
A lot of Arab grocers made out, right? With the gas, we know gas. If you had a gas station, because people travel to be with loved ones. So he walked in the chat room. He said Walks World. This is Ace. He said, "What to do, Outlaws? What we talking about tonight?" Hey, like I said in the beginning of the show, if it's something that got something to do with Black people, it's probably gonna be discussed here on the show tonight. So that's pretty much it, Ace. Ewok says cheating and dealing and stealing in broad daylight in front of us in the world, and he's still getting away with it. How much longer?
Not much.
Let me see.
Oh, that shit coming to an end. Trust me.
Ace saying the 76ers got their slush. I'm sorry, I said the 76ers. The J6ers, January 6ers, got that slush run for real, or is it in the air? Said motherfuckers trying to be like Sugar Ray from Harlem Nights. They doing that bullshit because it was fucked up. And this is AC said, we need to get all these punk ass Zionists and their sympathizers out. Yeah, good luck on that one, Ace. Yeah, good.
You ain't lying. They fucking deep in there.
As far as the whole thing with January 6th goes, from the start, Trump denied, that he was the reason that it happened. He denied that he didn't trigger it off by some of his verbiage and the way he spoke to a lot of his supporters. But afterwards, when he came back and was reelected, then you start to see a lot of them get, exonerated and not face criminal time or criminal charges. I already knew it was a fly in the buttermilk, but the whole reparations thing sticks out more than anything to myself, because we as Black people have been told so many times repeatedly why we don't deserve reparations for the 246 years of slavery that we endured prior to Jim Crowism, prior to the crack epidemic. Yeah. We've been told so many times, even though we can pinpoint way more egregious treatment than any of the January 6th rioters have encountered. We've been told unequivocally that there's no possible way that you all will ever receive any kind of compensation, to the tune that a lot of Black people have kind of chimed in and said, they ain't gonna never let us have that. That ain't gonna never happen. So for me to watch you say a bunch of criminals, a bunch of crazy redneck MAGA white boys, not only should they not get charged for trying to take over the Capitol,
that's wild.
But they also should be compensated because of whatever suffering they may have faced. So, it's
they have not gotten it, Kev. Just for the record, just to add that.
But that's why also you don't see me getting very upset about something like a Kevin Hart roast or something very minor. Like, I pay more attention to the things that matter. And to me, reparations is a very, very, very big subject. And I want Black people, and I say this everywhere I go, I want Black people to stop even doubting it or questioning it, saying how or why or will or can or could, and start saying we demand it. And we should start saying that with our vote. We should start saying that with the dollars that we spend. We should start saying we demand this. This is not something we're asking for. You've given billions of dollars to
other races,
to Asian people. You've given, I don't know how many billion. Germany, listen, Jewish people are still getting paid from every which way possible right now to this day.
Yes.
And I'm not downplaying the effect of the
No.
Holocaust, but I'm saying the Middle Passage was way worse. It was way worse. So in terms of how many people it actually affected, so it's one of those things where nothing surprises me, but I am surprised by certain things, right? I'm not caught off guard, but I'm like, yo, and they and like I said, it's almost like sometimes things are done in a way that they're looking at Black America saying, "What you gonna do about it?" I feel like we're challenged a lot. A lot of things are done, and it's like they're saying to us, "Okay, so what? What? So it's not right, but what you gonna do about it?" And as usual, we don't do a whole lot. We talk. Well, the name of the show tonight is Talking Ish. We
Yeah.
talk a lot. We will talk about some shit. Like we gonna just discuss it, but there will be very, very, very minimal action. Like even with the redistricting, this should be something we making
Oh
a
my
whole
God.
fool about. But
Yes.
because I think a lot of people don't even understand the ramifications of someone stripping your ability to vote for a certain person because they know a backlash is coming because of all of the bullshit that our president and his political party
Exactly.
has imparted on our country since he's taken office. But I got Ewok on the line, man. Ewok, what's going on, partner? What's on your mind?
What it do, Playboys, Outlaw Radio, what it do? Everybody
What
that's
up?
listening, what it do? Hey, I just got a simple question that I feel like, let me hold this motherfucker right here. You get your ass started. I ain't like Dion, and I close the door on this nigga. So, my question is, 1940s or some shit like that, the Jews took over Israel or the land, whatnot. I want to know what it is that the United States owe them for anyway. Why is this country so vested in just giving them, just handing them shit like they a free leprechaun? You know what I'm saying? And nobody. And another thing is, how come it's not being questioned enough? Like why are we giving them? What do they do for us? What strategic area do they hold that's so important? So that's my question. All of that right there. I got more, but I just want y'all to just think about that. Whoever want to answer. What the fuck? What the fuck we owe them so much for, man?
I would say historically, when we start to talk about the formation of Israel, it was 1947, I believe. We're coming off of World War II, and
Mm-hmm.
what happened to I have to call them what they are, the Ashkenazi Jews, which are basically European Jews. What happened
Mm-hmm.
to them in Germany was no doubt tragic. Listen, it
Yeah,
was it was
absolutely.
it was horrible. Like you're talking
Fucked
about,
But
up.
man.
we didn't do it though.
Hold on, let
This
me let me
country
let me
didn't do
finish though. Let me finish. They were basically displaced. So and they had been basically rescued. And I guess one of their asks, somehow, some way, they had a power structure and a main line to the leaders, who being the United States and being England and the rest of the allied powers, because
Yeah.
at that point, they were set to take the big seats, which were the economic power seats. So I guess they had a main line to them to say, yo, we want a spot. We want a spot where our people can call home, that our people can call home. And so they had that instantaneous support. Listen, I've asked many a times, Ewok, you're not alone in saying, why is it?
Yeah, okay.
Why is it that these people have received unconditional support for years and years and years? Aside from the fact that they have a very powerful place in our country when it comes to, law and medical field and medicine, but a lot of people have said, how is it? And I don't know if it's centered around this belief that this is supposed to be the Jews are supposed to be God's people, because there's some people who believe
Not
that.
them
Part
one.
of it.
There's some people who believe that, but I don't have a real answer for you because I don't know why they're revered so much. Like to the point where you can say anything. We just watched this Kevin Hart thing, and you can do all kinds of lynching jokes and George Floyd jokes. Had a Jewish joke or a homosexual joke been done,
It'd
it'd
have
have
been
been
over.
congratulations the next morning, right?
Yeah, it
Hey,
would have been bad.
hey,
That wouldn't have went over well at all. And that's the stuff that makes me so mad because if you look at a lot of this, man, and this is a ingrained belief in certain people. I've had multiple white people when I'm in these rooms and these spaces, just texting, watching what they doing or whatever. They're like, "What are you guys talking about reparations? You guys get welfare." That's the mentality when more of them are on welfare. That's the mentality, bro. They actually believe that dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, man, it's not you can't sell it. That's how come people be like, oh man, you know, certain politicians, dude, you will get a real Trump is what he is. He's enriching himself and doing what he's doing. 10 years from now, you're gonna get a real white nationalist, and you're gonna get one that you can't see right away because he's gonna learn from the bullshit and he's going to say things that don't sound as racist, but they're going to sound intelligent. You know what I mean? They're going to sound like, oh yeah, we need to, you know, stop people from coming in illegally. And the people that are here, we're going to do A, B, C, and D. But in the background, it's going to be quiet. See, Trump's not quiet. And that's why he's not as dangerous. That's how come we're going to get in the words of Nostradamus, we're going to get like years of peace. But the real white nationalist is coming. He just ain't here yet. He's coming though. Trust me when I tell you that one. He's coming.
Sharita Shaw in the chat room. What to do, Sharita? She said, hey, Outlaw family and friends. How you doing? How you doing, Sharita? A said they're not going to be satisfied until motherfuckers go straight Luigi on these bitches.
That's so true.
Sharita says, just for everyone using the word reparations and watering it down pisses me off.
Yeah.
Especially when they were initially laughing about the thought of it. Carrie Walker Jones, how you doing? She said, hey, Outlaws, how you doing? How you doing, Carrie? Ace Cooley in the chat, he said, let Ewok know it's a bunch of blackmailing going on. The deep state is real. He said they bought the J Bird Mafia to take out the Italian Mafia. Epstein was a major tool to them.
Yes.
And Carrie Walker Jones said Trump is the devil. Right? Like, okay. If that's how you
Trump
see
is
it.
the devil.
Right.
Like water boy.
But you know, once again, I think that we as black people shouldn't be surprised.
No.
And I know. It's like,
why they still trying to run that scam and scheme though, talk about they God's chosen people. They teach they people that see when they born, it ain't even their fault because they was born into this lie. Talking about they God's chosen people and shit. When it's a law against them all taking a DNA test and comparing it to the true people because they can do that shit now. It's motherfuckers and all the way down in South Africa and shit. You know what I'm saying? That can trace their bloodlines and their DNA and all of that shit to fucking the people that was actually in the Bible. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That lived there around those times.
Descendants of Christ.
For a Jewish person to take a DNA test.
I would
Because
think
they sitting around their lines. They some fake Jews.
I would think you would have to listen to the great minister Louis Farrakhan talk about Jewish people and why he calls them Jewish, right? Like they're not the true Jews.
I have.
And there's even, you know, some conversations that state that black people are a lost tribe of Jews. And I know my dad would be big on saying that there were some lost tribes and that the one of the trademarks of one of the tribes would be that these people would be the most persecuted people on earth, which I don't think there's anybody who has a longer list than us. So, you know, but
back to the scene of the crime though, Phil, man, you know what I'm saying? I still don't get what the fuck it's like Jews got more control over America than America do. Donald Trump do what BB say do. Pay attention. BB, but see, he has to not listen right now because he's stuck. Donald Trump don't know his ass from, what do you call it, a hole in the ground, shit from shot on it, whatever. He don't know what to do now. He's like dead. He a dead duck. He's sitting there. He don't know what to do. Do I listen to BBA? He said he ain't even sending no soldiers over there. The United States gonna do it. Dude is flat out saying, I'm gonna send my hoes to do it. That's the way Bibi Netanyahu talk about the United States and what he ain't gonna do and what our army gonna do. I'm telling you, dude, they say shit right in front of your face. I'm telling you, I be listening to them every day like these motherfuckers bold in the motherfucker.
He be doing it all the time too. Bibi don't care. He don't care at all. Yeah.
Well, because the precedent was set long ago that they don't have to really act on their behalf a lot. But if you have been paying attention for the last 20, 25 years, Israel has been like their military is backed by the United States. So
Period.
they've when they wanted to take action against someone, they've done it, and the United States has backed to play. So
Ian,
he ain't wrong.
Ian, what year? Hey, Ian, what year did Bibi Netanyahu start talking about this bomb that Iran supposedly had? What year was it? It was all the way back in they've been telling that same lie since '80s. Iran is going to have a bomb. Motherfucker, it's 2026 and shit. He's still running that same shit. He ran it against all the other presidents and shit before Trump. And guess what? He got Donald Trump to bite. To go, you know how he got Donald Trump to bite? Because Donald Trump thought it was easy to fuck with Venezuela. That was easy money. You know what I'm saying? He went over there and bullied some motherfuckers who can't fight. But the motherfucker Iranians been around here for 2,000 years fighting this shit. And there's 90 billion of them. And they got technology and shit too. So Trump thought it was on the street when he just went over there. And that's why he in the mess.
To answer your question, Benjamin Netanyahu, he apparently started talking about the threat of an Iranian nuclear bomb about 30 years ago. Ironically, in the same 30-year span, Tupac Shakur was killed and so was the Notorious B.I.G. But yes, he was talking about that 30 years ago. And the reason I said that to be funny is because that just goes to show you, man, like it's shit that these guys... Exactly. It's the same lie. And it's like stuff that's more important to us opposed to these clowns. And Kev, I see why you get so tired of the politics shit. And it happens every few years. You'll have somebody bite on something dumb. You have someone say something dumb. You have someone say something racist. They'll do one thing in the media to distract, and everybody will get rich behind the scenes. It's annoying, man. It really is. Ugh.
I'm looking at my chat. A says them motherfuckers come from Russia, Iceland, Greenland. They stole a religion and turned the shit into a race.
That's
Kerry
harsh.
Walker Jones said they formed a whole task force run by JD Vance to stop theft of government funds and CBRF daycare, Medicaid fraud, etc. You know who makes that money? When the fuck they gonna stop Trump thieving ass?
I like that.
And she said, Kerry Walker Jones said Benjamin Netanyahu.
None.
Sharita said they give money for war and don't feed the poor. Tupac. Yeah, they got money. He did say that they got money for wars and won't feed the poor, but that's been going for a very long time. I just, once again, I still believe, and this is one thing for my people, as proud as we are, and as steadfast as we are, there's been a lot done, and I feel like a lot of it is a direct challenge to us to say, what are you gonna do about it?
Nothing.
If you want to talk shit, okay, keep talking. What you gonna do about it? And we collectively usually don't do anything. We make a lot of noise. All right. Now we will protest. We will get together and have a demonstration. We'll march. We'll get together somewhere and hold hands and do whatever. But no real action is done on our behalf after that. And our elected officials, the people who we put into office, who are supposed to be our leaders, don't propose any kind of actions, any kind of reactions to some of the stuff we deal with in this country either. So really, I think the conversation needs to be centered less around what they do to us and focus more on what we gonna do to them.
What's really gonna cook your noodle is when motherfucker Democrats take control or they have a full majority. Watch and see what happens. They still gonna get them Jews that money. You know what I'm saying? Mark my words. If it does happen, where 2 more years from now, 3 more years from now, the president Democrat, and they got the House and the Senate, they still gonna give them Jews the money.
Absolutely.
Ace says these people were.
They don't give them the money because they all give them the money. All of them.
Ace Cooley in the chat room is saying these people were kicked out of over 100 countries before 1948 when the Rothschilds rented the land from Palestine. He says, shit, both parties done gave the country away. Shit, Kev, both parties done gave the country away. Well, I mean, I don't know. Listen, if you as an individual are out there thinking, I can't wait till the Democrats is in control again.
You out your motherfucking mind.
I don't want to insult you personally, but I'm gonna say just go back
historically
and just look up history, right? Like because we just had a Democratic regime, two presidents in a row, didn't we? Well, no, we had Sleepy Joe, we had Trump before that, and then we had Obama for 2 terms. What really changed? What was it? Okay, the economy was better.
Yeah, it was.
We didn't have
Less
we didn't have a
chaos.
battery. We didn't have a battery in the back of over racist that we do right now. But Democrats, that's why I keep saying I'm not. That's why people say I'm a Democrat. I'm not. I'm a Republican. I'm not, because both parties have been egregious in their treatment of us. Neither one of those parties is a friend to the black man. Understand?
Not at all, sir.
So I'm not gonna sit now. I will feel a little bit better when Trump is gone. I ain't gonna lie about that. Now I will.
Oh, hell yeah.
I will. If there's any part of me that's partisan, is going to be the desire to have Donald Trump gone out of the White House, right?
No
But
MAGA people
that's
either.
not about partisan politics. That's just about my personal preference. But once Democrats come back into whatever kind of positioning that they can acquire, I'm not gonna be breathing a deep sigh like, "Ooh, all's well in the world again." I'm gonna be like, "All right, now back to the normal bullshit," because that's typically what it comes down to, right?
It's 3 political parties right now. You got the Democrats, the Republican, and MAGA. You know what I mean? They really are like a political party, which is disturbing. So I can't wait till MAGA gone. I'll take a Republican or a Democrat over MAGA any day of the week.
Yeah, MAGA seems to be something that's very toxic.
Yeah,
something that needs to be undone. Sharita says the U.S. is under contract with Israel. I know they got a bunch of contracts with Israel. I don't know if they're under any kind of. I don't know. It's a difference. I don't know. We may never know. We may never know. We may never really know what causes this Teflon agreement. This Velcro unity that the United States has to always protecting Israel. We may never know what it is. It might be something that's big money that we on this end don't really get. And so it's something worth looking into. Like, what is it? Well, how is it that we are just unquestionably dedicated to supporting Israel no matter what? Okay. Something that's worth looking into. And we can't be too one-sided with it, because how many Palestinians do we let into this country every year that come into our neighborhoods and start businesses? So it's not like we're mean to Palestinians either. Like, we have a lot of Palestinians in the United States of America in the black community.
But we ain't gonna what about Biden this shit right here though. You know what I'm saying? That's what about Biden, what about Obama and shit. Fuck that, man. You know what I'm saying? This is a direct. Sometimes you gotta, try to see something direct, and then you can go out to the other extremes and shit, man. But this Israel shit is a big ass motherfucking thing to me, because what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? All right, the war is over. Now these people need somewhere to go. They ought to been the fuck happy they got there. No, how the fuck did they become this powerful where they found them a patch of land and they've been stealing more and more and more of the same land ever since with the help of the United States? If y'all went through the Holocaust and all of this shit, what makes you so powerful? How? I want to know how the fuck that happened. That's what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, you got the ear of a superpower. You got a superpower that backs your every move. The investigation. I'm talking about the United States of America. So they got, for some reason, the question you're asking is, how is it that the United States of America backs Israel no matter what? They got more clout than any other place on this earth, right? Like you cannot mess with Israel.
But
so,
now, that shit gonna be dead. That shit gonna be. I'm telling you, I think all of that Israel shit dead. Don't nobody like nothing Donald Trump doing. All of these motherfuckers and shit, he making it. Dude, they don't even give a fuck. Dude, they ain't even letting him land his planes and things. You can't even. Everybody on earth hate that man right now, man. They can't wait till somebody else who could got some sense come to the table. We done fucked the earth up.
Carrie Walker says Trump pimping the shit out of America. When he's finished, we will be sold to the lowest bidder. She said his daughter as the interest is not real. What are we talking about, Carrie? Sharita says, dude, how 51st Boulevard been having their own community forever? Okay, there's another one that I'm lost on. I'm not. They kind of switched up on me. I don't know what that is. With 51st Boulevard having their own community forever. Ace Cooley said it's not just the Israeli synagogue, it's also the Catholic Church. Okay. The way he spelled Israeli is real funky the way he spelled Israeli because it's usually with an I. So it kind of threw me.
Yeah, he needs to call in and shit if he ain't over there spelling this shit.
That was absolutely hilarious. I said, "What is really what? What are we talking about here?" Well, Catholics have a bunch of they have a bunch of clout in America as well. Worldwide, the Catholic Church is huge. So, we got some religious bodies that are just dominant in terms of their global reach.
The crazy part is, it seems like Israel then outpaced the Pope and shit. It's like motherfuckers. Donald Trump is fucking having an argument with the Pope. So yeah, Israel in his eyes and in the United States eyes is like better than the Pope.
I don't know about that because when it comes to the Pope, I don't know, man. There's so many Catholics on this
planet. Having arguments with the Pope, man. Trying to fight the Pope.
But you talking about Trump and the Pope versus Israel, and you're talking about the Jewish people versus the Catholic people worldwide.
I can speak.
United States on that. They didn't make no back. They didn't get no backlash that much behind it.
I'm a third degree not at Columbus.
Hold on. What'd you say, Ian?
I'm a third degree not at Columbus. I know a lot about the Catholic Church. I've studied for years. I've been a Catholic for 20 years almost. And I'm telling you, like all of that sucker stuff that Trump be talking and that nonsensical garbage that he be spewing, he ain't bigger than the Catholic Church. He a cornball. And it's funny because we laugh all the time. But the thing is, though, what's funny about that is you'll go to church, you'll go to mass, and you'll see a whole bunch of punk ass people with Trump stickers on their freaking vehicles. I got into it after mass with this one dude. He was talking that dumb Trump shit. And I was like, why do you support him and you a Christian? What are you saying? I'm like, dude, he's in the Epstein files a million times. Like, it was literally like a food drive. They was just getting stuff, but he started talking about
you
Trump.
You said that in the Catholic Church? Like,
no. I said it outside when we was out on our way to our car.
I'm just I knew I don't know. We started talking about Catholic priests. I don't know if they that mad at Epstein.
No. And it's funny though, because a lot of the priests though, like two of our priests, they can't stand Trump. The other one kind of neutral because he from Venezuela. He don't really say much. His English is bad, so he don't really say much. But as far as the two white priests, they can't stand him. And I'm like, that's good. At least I'm like, y'all on the same page. And then dude overheard us talking because I'm just like, man, it's just crazy how you can be a Christian, but you can hate gay people and you can hate black people and you can hate people, but you call yourself a Christian and you call yourself a Catholic.
I think religion should have nothing to do with policy. And you know what? It's in the Constitution and shit, but it never took hold because, the Christian belief always been here. But it's written in the policy in the Constitution that it's called the separation of state.
It's actually not stated specifically. It's implied. It's insinuated, but it's not, and that's a misnomer that people think that's actually not in the Constitution. It doesn't say that.
Religion should have nothing to do with nobody's politics, man, at all.
No, it should.
Because you know what I'm saying. Now you got to fight over God just to cast your ballot. That's garbage. And you know what? I think, whether it was strictly in there or not, I think that was something right that they put in there. But it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Somebody run in, they talk about what church to go to and all of that shit as part of their campaign. They've been doing that shit forever. You know what I'm saying? So there has never been
all men are created equal was in there too, and we seen how that shit worked out. So
right, exactly.
She said, this is Sharita Shaw. She said, here in Milwaukee, the street. I'm right now, I'm not up on what you're talking about. I don't know. You said that they're their own community on 51st Boulevard. I don't know.
So like Porky the Pig.
You said what?
She's talking about a hospital.
Okay.
Where I guess I forgot the street though.
A little bit far away from where I'm from.
Yeah.
This is Carrie. She said his daughter has the interest in Israel, not him. And Ace is responding to us with the way he spelled Israeli because he said, "Oh, Negro, I got fat limbs. Get off of me, LOL." Okay, whatever. Sharita Shaw said, all the Jews over there, the rabbis over there. You're talking about I know what you're talking about. You're talking about over there off Roosevelt, that whole Jewish community.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
Where, for King Street, east of Roosevelt, like on 51st.
that whole area that you go down Fond du Lac, you run straight into it. They have synagogues over there. You see them walking with their yarmulkes.
They've been there forever.
Yeah, they've been there for a long time. And
good for them. I love that.
Yeah, but she's saying, how did they become their own community? Well, solidarity is how you become your own community.
And real estate.
And you have your own schools and your own churches, and you're self-contained because they shop with each other. They don't typically deal with the Arabs like we do.
They stay on code. Yeah, they stay on code.
All right, let me go here to the chat room. Erica Hunt, how you doing? She said, "Hey, Outlaws." What's up, Erica? Carrie Walker Jones in the chat room says you got beef at church. Damn. What about Ian? They're arguing with some old ass Catholic dudes at the church and shit.
Yeah, they was trying to be cool, but it was like I take a hard line with that though. You support Trump, you support pedophilia, you support all this dumb shit. Sorry, that's how I feel.
Right, I hear you. Church, banging at church. Go ask at the service. I think this is Ace Cooley on the line with us here. Ace, what's going on, man?
Hey, nothing was cracking with you, man. What's happening with you, Ian?
What up? What up,
man? Y'all don't give them motherfuckers that much credit, man. Like they've been working with. They stole a lot of shit. Right now, they had the United States and mortgage stuff. You know what I'm saying? The motherfuckers is also involved in organ trafficking. The motherfuckers is also involved in pedophilia. They ain't no better, no better. They just get away with it and they pay for it. They saved up enough money to blackmail motherfuckers to build APAC and shit like that to get politicians in their pocket. Them motherfuckers ain't work hard. They stole.
You speaking about Jewish people?
You said it. I didn't.
Okay. No, well, you did actually say it. You were talking about that, right? Like that's
yeah.
You said it.
I shouldn't say. And you know what, Kev? I don't want people to think I don't have a problem with Jewish people, man. It's Zionists. At the end of the day, all Jewish people aren't Zionists, and Zionism, but all Zionists claim Judaism. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Well, I don't think anybody on here in particular gave them any credit or said that they worked hard. I said solidarity, which means they're self-contained.
Well, shit, and you're right. But they did shit. You know, they controlled the hip hop, the entertainment industry here. You know, Tupac had a real big problem with these motherfuckers. They was on his head. You know, a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, he hates motherfuckers.
I mean, I think that they've had issues. I know they've had issues with the minister, for a very long time. But once again, this is what happens when you stick together. Like I don't ever recall being in a gas station, an Arab gas station in the hood, and a Jewish dude came in with a yarmulke on. I don't ever recall seeing that. I've never seen that. So
it's easy. Hey,
I'm gonna tell you.
Hey, one time, hey, this Ewok. I want to go back to the scene of the crime. How did they get this much power? You know what I'm saying? That quickly.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's been years of shit. They actually keep it 100. They actually partner with the Catholic Church to do a lot of shit. You know, if you look at the Bible, people you ask who killed Jesus Christ. Was it the Jews or was it the Romans? You know what I'm saying? But truthfully speaking, it was the Jews. The Jews couldn't do it because they didn't want to look bad, but they set him up for the Romans to do it. So they both were complicit. You get what I'm saying? And how they got into power, it's been years, man. Because
no, I'm talking about these new Jews. I'm talking about the 1940 Jewish man.
Listen to me, man.
Not the ones that killed Christ.
Yeah, so
we have to differentiate.
This is what you got. It's all a bloodline, brother. It's all a
they
bloodline.
Don't have those white people right now that's claiming you don't have a bloodline to claim.
Correct. They say they do. As a matter of fact, you go over to Israel, it's illegal to do the 23andMe. You can't do that. You can't go study your lineage over there. It's illegal. You can't, because the very fact that if they did, they're gonna find out who they really were. Like I said, they're from Russia. They're from all these Nordic ass countries. You get what I'm saying?
I think we're both talking about the same thing, kind of.
Yes, we are.
What I want to know is, you know what I'm saying, since the 40s when they got that land, that's not too long ago, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like a one lifetime for us. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
we get a little extra years. But the thing is, how the hell did they come to the point where they actually telling the United States president and Congress and everybody what to do? If the Holocaust made them suffer so bad, how did they come into power that fast?
Like I said, dude, they were brought in to take out the Italian mafia. Basically, what do you think that's the deep state? You get what I'm saying? These the same motherfuckers that killed fucking JFK. You get what I'm saying? These motherfuckers, and once they did that, man, it was freedom of power right there. These same motherfuckers had something to do with the motherfucking the Titanic getting stuff. It's all federal banking, man. They
Look at Meyer Lansing.
Hold on, I want to say, based on what happened to Jewish people during the Holocaust, I think you had the world's sympathy. There was nobody who was nobody who was against them getting some kind of reward for what happened to them, or reparations is kind of becoming a cliche-ish word, but I think there was a global phenomena of people, countries, and leaders who said, no, we have to do something for these people right away because of what they just endured. Yeah. And so, like I said, if you ask how is it that they were able to assume such a position, is because you got the backing of the world's biggest superpowers. You had the biggest powers to say, no, we putting our stamp on these dudes. It's just like in the hood. If the most powerful clique in the hood say he good with us, everybody hands off. Nobody's gonna really touch you because they don't want that smoke. No, so it's globally and politically, if they were put into place, this is why the Palestinians couldn't overtake them and just take their land back, because one phone call to Washington, then you got battleships right in the Gulf, you got jet strikes, you got. And not to mention the military equipment that they supplied them with. So we got to look at the support they received from the world powers, is how they were able to, in terms of the establishment of Israel. Say that again.
They took over the UN, basically. They took over the UN. They took over every major establishment in the world. Once they did the UN, they got BlackRock. Once they got BlackRock, it was over. It's over.
I don't know. I won't say they took over the UN, but they certainly were given a powerful place in the UN. And so, once again, though, it takes other leaders to say we got their back. Like it takes other groups to say, "Now we rock with Israel."
Yes, what I'm saying. What is all this given about? And then now that they've been given so much, they arrogant and the motherfucker and shit because they've been given so much. First of all, you didn't deserve shit. You deserve some help, and that's trying to help somebody and shit. But where all this power come from and why? And you know what? White people is greedy. The United States and Great Britain and all these Western countries is greedy as fuck. So what the fuck benefit? What does fucking Israel have? Is it a strategical war spot? Is it what? Because white people don't give people nothing unless they get their goddamn money, and you know it. Outlaw.
And check this out. The bad thing is, it didn't even take place here, but we paid them reparations. Why? That's my point.
Well, I think it's very important. I think it's very important, and you have to understand there are some leaders who think ahead of the game. I think the United States and other leaders knew we needed a peace in the so-called Middle East and what it will become, because our dependence on fossil fuels in that region will be so great. We needed something over there that could launch as a springboard for whatever initiatives we wanted to get down. So, I think it's strategic. And then you add to, like we just all have stated a million times, America is a country that's pretty much was supposedly, we know better now, but supposedly established on the principles of Christianity. So if in the Bible it states that these are God's people, the belief would be it would behoove us to be friends with God's chosen people. It's good for our longevity, right? Like, so whether or not they are, whether they are or are not, we can't question the legitimacy of that. I don't know if they're God's people or not. I'm along the lines, like I said,
because they God wouldn't have had no other people patch out a patch of land for some people who suffered the Holocaust.
I'm saying
People
I don't
suffered the
know. I don't
Holocaust.
know who we got
They
to
got
look
a
at.
welfare check, and
We
then
got to
now they
look
keep
at
going
who the
welfare
actual.
check.
We got to look at who the actual Jews are. So unless you're an
Yeah, I was
expert,
just going to get ready to say that.
unless you're an
They was
expert,
black. They came from
unless you are an expert on, because there's many different paths to Judaism. There's many different pathways.
Yeah,
It's not
if you
just
study
one.
the religion, that don't automatically make you the people though.
Like I said, I don't know the different pathways and how it even extended itself to Europe so that we could get Ashkenazi Jews. I'm not the authority on that subject. I would have to get somebody in here to explain it to us who was more of like, now with black people, I can explain a lot in terms of our lineage, but I can't do the same for Jewish people. So I would have to get the right person involved in the conversation before I make any assumptions.
Just because I knew Ben Franklin flew a kite and shit, don't give me access to motherfucking creators of kites. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, man, the Catholic Church is partnered with them, man, and that was, and truthfully, that's the most powerful entity on the earth, is that Catholic Church. They partnered with them.
I don't know, because they say that
Islam
is the biggest religion on the planet. They said
it may be the biggest, but it ain't the
fastest religion.
I don't know. Well, you can say that, but you have so many countries that have fundamental Muslim governments, which means the religion dictates the policy in the country. That's pretty powerful. Not over here, but around the world, though, and that's all around the world. So you can't really talk about.
If I'm not mistaken, the most powerful is it Iran, or is from what and we have war with the most powerful Islamic country, or not Islamic but Muslim country in the world right now. Am I correct?
I don't know, because I don't know where Iran ranks at in terms of the hierarchy. I just know that Islam is a very influential religion, and it is a global religion, and there are a lot of Muslims, and there's different kinds of Muslims. So a lot of people don't even understand that there's Sunni Muslims, and there's like the FOI, and the FOI that we have here is a black Muslim sect. That's not even the same as other traditional Muslims. So we talk about it. That's why it's so easy. It's so easy to start running your mouth. And I'm not talking about anybody particular on this panel, but it's so easy to run your mouth without actually saying anything. We have a lot of people who say a lot of shit and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And a lot of these people are influential. Our president is one of them. He'll talk. He will talk. But how he knows what the hell he's talking about, right? Most of the time, he don't. You can almost hear the people in the press conferences saying, "What the hell is he talking about?" Like he's a stammerer. He's a stammerer, man. Like, so we gotta put real knowledge sometimes in the conversations, and that kind of changes things up. Let me go to my chat room. Sharita Shaw said, but the government not fucking with them gentrifying their area. Well, they won't have to gentrify their area, right? Like, I think that they will be agents of gentrification because they'll own a lot of the properties that gentrifiers move into, right? Like, and so, white on white is white. I know Jewish people say, don't call me white. I'm calling you white boy. I don't care.
Both to New Jersey, they see what this is. That's all Jewish. They took that over. Why you can't really carry guns like that, which is why and they pretty much done put over that. It's a park, man. The taxpayers pay for their private schools and they kosher delis and shit like that. These motherfuckers, like Ian said, these motherfuckers sitting up there on welfare. You know what I'm saying? They having 10, 12, 14 kids. And they talking about all they doing is reading their whatever their Bible is. It's a bunch of bullshit, man.
Sharita Shaw says, let me go back to my chat room. Sharita says they are a protected race, which I agree with. And she said the Moors. She said the Moors, Jewish Israelites. And yeah, you're right, spelling, because I'm pretty sure that's not right, Sharita. I don't know, because I don't even know what the black Israelites like. I'm not up. I can't really tell you what they be talking about a lot of times, because I'm still like, the eye test is everything for me. If you dress like Conan the Barbarian and you yelling and screaming, like I tend to keep it moving. Like, I don't want to hear what you're talking about, man. Like, what's
I thought you said they dress like Soul Sonic Force.
Right? Yeah, looking like Africa Bambaataa. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, I don't know, man. Dakota, who is this? Dakota Canatzer. How you doing,
Yeah.
Dakota? Thank you for tuning in. Said greed is in all races. No doubt, no doubt,
Hey,
no doubt.
first, hey, real quick to give a plug to Dakota. Dakota is he's actually a rapper. I believe they from down south. His cousin, I believe his name is. If you follow rap, I didn't know who he was, but as a young man, he didn't really started really blowing up. His name is Belly Gang Cushington. And Belly, the thing is though, Belly looked like he a white dude and he biracial. He's not white.
Okay.
Yeah, his dad is black, and ironically, his white mother abandoned him. Just for the record.
All right. Well, welcome to the show, Dakota. Now, Dion, I know you're on the line because I can hear you cleaning up your dogs and shit. What's going on, man?
Man, this motherfucking Bluetooth, I got to pick up everything, though. But hey, man, I'm back. You know, I went down to Memphis, enjoyed myself. So I'm hearing you guys talk about the Jews and everything. But, you know, as I said before, the Jews are the peacekeepers of the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at the Middle East, Pakistan is not in the Middle East. India is not in the Middle East. The Middle East, I don't think Turkey is in the Middle East. I don't know about Egypt, but if you look at the Middle East, I believe Israel is the only one that have nuclear capability. They have a nuclear weapon.
That's true.
So Israel is the peacekeeper of the Middle East. Also, like you guys were saying, and I think we said it before, about Israel is a made-up state. Jerusalem is in the Bible, but Israel is a made-up state. That was Palestine, and they took it from the Palestinians.
Correct.
You know, and things like that. So, you know, I don't know what they really got over the United States, man. There's so much going on. But we better be careful because I was listening to somebody. I listen to a lot. There's so much information out there and there's so many informational people. You know, like I listen to Karen Hunter. I listen to Lori Daniel Favors. You know, and she was talking about last week that the Republicans really ain't concerned about gaining the majority. They trying to do something where they have a convention, but it's going to be a constitutional convention where they make amendments to the Constitution. So, you know, we better be, because now remember now, you know, we was talking about this myth project 2025. People like, oh no, yeah. But look what's going on with it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, man, I just, you know, the South, you know, I went down South, you know, and I enjoyed myself down there in Memphis, you know, it was all on Elvis Presley Boulevard and, you know, went down there on Bill. I took my dogs with me though. So it was just basically, you know, like sometimes I need to get away. I wish that I went down to Mississippi. I wish that, I don't know when they having it, but they're supposed to be having some type of thing going on in Oklahoma City and where the Black Wall Street was. But, you know, it's just so many things, you know. Like I said, most of the time when I take vacations, it do be for leisure, but it also be for educational purposes. Like I want to go to Monticello, which is in Virginia. That's Thomas Jefferson's plantation. I might make a trip.
Learn about Elvis.
I ain't learned shit about Elvis. I don't even like Elvis. I was just on Elvis Presley Boulevard. I was just on, you know, just driving through the city. You know what I'm saying? Like Memphis.
I'm just
is like
with
Milwaukee.
you, I don't know the streets.
No. What I'm saying, like Memphis is like Milwaukee, basically. Like every city that you go to, if you get on a main strip, it's gonna run. I don't know if it runs east or west or north or south. But I think Elvis Presley Boulevard runs north and south because I got off 55 and Highway 40 because you got 40 east and 40 west. That's like parallel. It's like 43 and 94. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So, but I just be driving through the city, basically learning the city and things like that. But most of the time when I go out of town, it be for educational purposes. Like when I went to South Carolina, and y'all, in order to really understand the South, you gotta go to places like bullshit. When I was in South Carolina, you didn't know. I'm talking about when I say I felt like and I get real hostile, and I gotta stop doing that. But when I say that no white folks say hi, they didn't say nothing. They just walked past you like you didn't exist. And I felt like it was during the 16 and 1700s. Because South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina is an old city, and they still got bricks. You know, like bricks in the road and the street. You know what I'm saying? And when you go through there and you see how people still behaving and looking at you and treating you, you like, damn, you know, you do get a chip on your shoulder. Just like when I went to Montgomery, you know, if you go to Montgomery, Alabama, that they have the first White House of the Confederacy. That was the capital of the Confederacy back then. So it's a lot of historical history there. Now, all through Montgomery, Alabama, they just ain't got number Confederate statues, how they showing the bravery of these people, this, that, and the other. So sometimes I'd be really confused about how the white people up here got the Confederate flag, but you ain't from the South, so you talking about that's your heritage. Like, really, that's not your heritage. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just doing something to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? But I had a good time, you know, and just come back to Milwaukee, you know. I keep hearing about Milwaukee County, we in a deficit or something. They want some money, and MTS wants some money, and Tony Evers doing these commutations and all that. So, you know, a couple of my guys on there and shit, you know, I hope they get, maybe I might do my pardon letter over again. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. Like I told somebody, I'm almost 50 years old, man. You know, the only reason I wanted a pardon to be able to defend myself with a firearm, but for the most part, I've been living a life without a firearm. And 9 times out of 10, if I needed that firearm and if I didn't, and if I had that firearm, you got to be trained for a firearm. You know, it just ain't like you shooting a motherfucker just recklessly shooting them. When you get up under duress and the stress like that, you actually have to be trained to know how to be able to pull it, use it, this, that, and the other. So I just don't even waste my time filling out the paperwork, going through all that litigation shit to put that pardon application in almost. So, you know, but other than that, you know, I'm here to chop it up with y'all. I forgot Monday you weren't gonna be. I said, hey, go Kev. I was thinking about you too the other day, Kev. You know, I was talking about you, and I was like, me and my guy, we always going back and forth on these holidays. You know, these white people holidays. And I said, well, you know, if we don't have to celebrate these holidays. Yeah, they allocated for people to have off and this, that, and other. But let's, you know, rest. You know, choose another day to have Thanksgiving or whatever day you want to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. You know, I just be in so much conflict with this shit in this world, man. It just be so fucked up, though. But yeah, though, I'm here as always, though, to participate with you guys.
So check this out. Just to answer Ewok's question, I just really Googled why is Israel so powerful. Okay, and it talks about the development and the establishment of Israel and how they were able to kind of rise above and beyond. And so it talks about even Golda Meir, who's from Milwaukee, toured the world and toured the country and raised millions of dollars for them to help them establish infrastructure and to establish their government. And so it goes into detail about the first leaders and how the first prime minister of Israel was able to establish UN credibility and stuff like that. So I would say if you want to know about it, Ewok, go Google it. It'll lay it out for you. Now, I do want to go to my chat room. Sharita Shaw says they be too damn deep. They be sounding like they came straight out the penitentiary. I don't know who she's talking about.
The Israelites. She
said Memphis is dusty. And Orlando Owens is in the chat room. What it do, Orlando? What's popping with you, man? How you doing? Feel free to hit us up if you got time. I want to switch off of the whole Israel thing for a minute and just talk about because we speak on celebrities who have a lot to say and who talk a lot of shit and try to make points and enlighten people. And I seen David Banner has been very vocal over the past few weeks, but I thought one of the most important things that he's been talking about is saying that the worst thing that ever happened to us in America was integration. And I think this, and he even stated that, you know, how Martin Luther King made this egregious mistake by him campaigning for integration. And I know one of his daughters came out and was like, wait a minute. Like, you know, you can't, who are you to basically, and you're wrong. Like, who are you to criticize, you know, my dad and what he wanted to do. Now, so I know a lot of people who are just like, you know, very quickly made scholars, because I know a lot of people who are some scholars just because of YouTube. They say Martin Luther King said he burned letters into a burning house. You know, like that's the number one quote they know from Martin Luther King is that he said something about a burning house. A lot of times people don't care about context. They don't care about shit. They just care about what the words that were spoken. Now, I've been critical of integration as well because of the way it was done. And anytime you force
Yeah,
feed anything to people, it's gonna have a tough you're gonna have a tough go of it. And even
yeah,
in a city like Milwaukee, you see that with something as simple as equal housing, when you force them to let us live in their neighborhoods, what do? They move. That's what they did. There's nothing told them they can't move. So when we talk about, well, we're going to force them to let us in their stores. So then what happens? A lot of them stop shopping at that store. And wherever they move to, they open a store there. And it's still an all white store by and large. I am kind of on the same page with David Banner in that my thing is I feel like we should have been seeking empowerment. Every single thing, every single issue, every single situation should have been about empowering ourselves. That is just the way I see it, as opposed to wanting to cohabitate with them. And I don't know if cohabitate is a real word, right? My mama used to use it, right? But I feel like we shouldn't have wanted to sit at the lunch counter with them. We should have just enjoyed our own lunch counters. Because what they do now is open lunch counters and say soul food served here, and it's a delicacy, right? Like, so almost all we basically did was share all our shit with them, and it made their shit better. So I don't know, I want everybody to even talk about how we feel about integration, because it's something that's been a part of America for the last 70 something odd years, 50, 60 years. How has it worked out? I don't know that it's worked out like it should have, because look at the school system. Look at the neighborhoods. Look how segregated the city of Milwaukee is, right? And it's no separate but equal. I mean, separate and equal. It's separate and unequal. All of the basic problems, the low end problems, hang right in our community. And we know damn well that if you injected more white people into our communities, a lot of those problems would go away because the city would be proactive in preventing them. So if we had an exodus of suburban white people moving back to Milwaukee, you'd be surprised how all of a sudden a bunch of jobs and a bunch of new factories and foundries would come here, processors, all these kinds of things, where all of a sudden viable jobs would be back.
yes,
Um,
sir.
the school system would bubble up again, like, yo, MPS would go back to its former glory. So I'm not totally disagreeing with David Banner in that integration might be one of the worst things that has happened to us, because I look at what it done to black business. But I'm not going to blame Martin Luther King for that. I'm not going to blame Martin Luther King for that. And I'm not going to criticize him for campaigning and crusading and making a difference, because I don't think any black person on no level should ever fix their mouth to criticize Martin Luther King, right? It's like Max B versus Big Daddy Kane. I don't think you should open your mouth to criticize him. So, Ian, what you think?
They love to do it. They love to do it too, KB. Somebody got the background going on. Yeah, they love to do it too. They love to.
Whoever that is, hold on, Ian. Whoever that is, turn your TV down, your radio down, whatever it is, or mute up, because it's horrible. It's horrible. I didn't know if you could hear it. I know I could hear it in my headphones.
Yeah, I can hear it. It was distinct. It was distinctive too. Okay. Well, it is what it is. So, in regard to the Martin Luther King, Malcolm X thing, bro, it's like people feel they got to tear down one to raise up another one. It's funny that we talking about him today, because I was talking about Trump and his 34.
Ian, because that's bothering me now. Whoever that is, mute up. Like, I can't. It's just horrible. Like,
yeah, I'm muted. I don't know who that is. I hear it.
That is horrible. That is just
it wasn't D.
Go. I don't know who it was. I'm not gonna blame Dion.
Yeah, me neither.
Dion is normally the culprit, but okay, if it's not him, whoever it is.
Yeah,
go ahead,
it's funny. And it's funny because if you think about it, I'll go to two things. It just shows you how significant this man actually was. One, they started comparing Charlie Kirk to him, which is clownery and blasphemy, right? Yeah, exactly. Two, I was talking about Trump today. I did a post where, he needs to be better, as far as him being a 34-time felon and adjudicated rapist. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, why do you guys support what you support? And my point in bringing that up is the lady instantly said, you never talk about Martin Luther King being a womanizer. I'm like, Martin Luther King wasn't president of the United States, and we're not talking about civil rights leaders that cheat on their wives. Why was he even brought up? and what it enlightened it hit me because they hate segregation. They really do. They hate it. I told people when I had an issue where they hate integration. They do. A lot of them do. And that's why they attack our quote unquote heroes. They do it all the time. If you notice, a lot of times it's subtle. They don't like integration a lot. And I said this, me and my mother were talking about this, and she lived during that time. I said, Mom, most people aren't like this, but there is a percentage of the community of their race that, and don't get me wrong, we got people in our race that hate white people, but there are some white people that absolutely hate black people, think we are unintelligent, and think we're all on welfare and we all commit the crimes. That's why Charlie Kirk and people like that got so popular. That's why I don't understand how any person of color can ride with Charlie Kirk when he was saying the things that he was saying, because it ain't got nothing to do with race, but it has everything to do with race. How can you side with that? How can you side with a political party who is right now, this MAGA stuff is aligned with racism by their actions, not me saying it? So it's just wild to me, bro. And that's why Martin Luther King.
Let me say this though. Any person who would say, why you ain't talking about Martin Luther King being a womanizer when we talking about Trump is reaching. Come on. Like,
fuck out of here.
First of all, how do we know that he was a womanizer? Okay. And
because the FBI told you?
This is based on Gay Edgar Hoover, bugging, him. And so, like you said, Trump's the president. MLK wasn't. Right. And I'm not justifying it's right for him to, cheat on his woman or whatever, but
we don't know that shit.
Well, JFK was a womanizer. George Clinton was a womanizer.
But you don't
Donald Trump is a womanizer.
Bill Clinton, and you don't hear that.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a womanizer, if that's, depending on
you don't hear none of that. You just hear about our guys. That's why Malcolm X was wild, dude, as far as his discipline. His discipline was at a level that I don't think can be matched.
You don't even want to hear what they said about Malcolm before he joined the nation, because there was some accusations made about him being a sugar baby for an old rich white man. So, it's personal versus professional. Like I would laugh at any racist white woman to say, but he was a womanizer. First of all, how do you know?
But wear a freaking red hat all day.
How does she know Martin Luther King was a womanizer based on what J. Edgar Hoover? Because now years later we find out that it was bugging his room and whatever. And then I say, so what? What did that make his argument that black people should be treated better in this country void? Did it make that any less viable, what he was talking about? It didn't put a dent in the fact that something had to be done with the way black people were being treated in the United States of America. So, but if that's what somebody wants to say, okay. I don't know that to be true. I didn't see it. I never heard none of the tapes. They said they sent them to Coretta. I don't know. She never said nothing about it.
And she never would. She never would have. Yeah, she wouldn't have said nothing about that.
Glad he was with women as opposed to, he wasn't with no dudes. Like, he wasn't bending Jesse Jackson over and, I don't know. I don't know.
You never know. No,
I don't know, man. He was dead by the time I was born. So I don't know. Let me go to the chat room.
You know what? I agree with
He was dead by the time I was born.
Let me go to the chat room. Sharita Shaw says, I always agreed that integration was a big mistake for Black Americans. She says, that's when all that redlining shit happened. Our resources are available to them, but their face is frowned upon when we use theirs. She said he can't hear y'all. I think she was talking about whoever had their TV or whatever going on when somebody had all that interference. And this is Sharita saying that's why delineation is important, because when it comes to Black people, they group us all as one. One X, the example being Haitians, Africans, Jamaicans, etc. And Ewok said J. Edgar Hoover was a manizer. He wasn't a womanizer, he was a Yeah, yeah,
Menonizer. That's
he absolutely liked them boys, right? They say he liked that boy Coochie. Like, him and his partner Clyde Tolson, man. Them dudes was
It's called Badussi. It's called
but
Badussi.
is that what Badussi? Is that what he was called? Right, okay. And he's a cross dresser, man.
boy.
Like, so I sure would like to see whatever footage, whatever damning footage the organized crime families had against him, because he sure wouldn't fuck with them. So I don't know what pictures they had of
They
this
didn't
dude.
exist according to him. When they had evidence that they existed, that was so funny, bro. They knew they existed.
How could you let the mafia just blow up under you? But you say the Black Panthers are the biggest threat to the American society. Like, at a certain point, like, some of this shit is just comical, where you just got to look at white people and say, and y'all was with that shit? Like, what's wrong with y'all? Why y'all never stood up? This is the problem with liberal Black people loving white people now. When you tell me, I didn't feel that way. And well, you didn't say that shit then. It's cool to say the shit now. How many Black people were you standing up for back then? Like, when this shit wasn't cool. So,
That's
or
why
did
I
you
love Pat Riley and freaking Larry Brown. Did you ever seen the iconic picture of them after the NCAA championship when they team lost to a whole bunch of black dudes and they played for Kentucky? That's where Pat Riley and Larry Brown played. They were the only two white men to shake hands with the black team that beat them. Everyone else left the arena. They stayed behind and they shook their hands.
Okay.
Vince Lombardi. One other sports story. Vince Lombardi, when the Packers used to play them exhibition games, because the NFL was not always as popular as it is now, they would go to these small towns and they would have the Packers do an exhibition against whatever team was, like the Minneapolis Maulers. The Packers would play against them to show them how good NFL players were. If Vince Lombardi said, if we do not get to sleep in the same hotel with our black players, we ain't playing. Because someone told him years ago when he didn't get the Giants job, they said no one with the last letter of his name ending in a vowel will ever be an NFL head coach. And he's arguably the most influential coach of all time. So I just think that's funny because they were anti-racist when it wasn't popular. You know what I'm saying? They weren't prejudiced at all, which I think is cool, man. But yeah, that's just funny.
No, there's something to be said about somebody who had enough courage back in those days to take a stand.
Oh yeah,
ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not impressed now by all these white people who love us so much and who say, "Oh, that was terrible. I can't believe it." And this is why when they question, well, why should we have to pay reparations? It wasn't us who did it. Yeah, but it was your parents. It was your forefathers who did it. And they held that shit down and they made sure that system that was built on kept it moving. And that's how you ended up with your white privilege. That's why you should have to pay right now. Because I tell you right now, my tax dollars are going to whatever with Trump and his January 6th rioters and to the Jews, the one Trump just passed for the Jews to get the stuff back that they lost during the Holocaust. And I didn't do none of that shit. So,
but what you're saying is logical, KB. And the thing is, though, a lot of it, especially with a lot of people's racism, it's not logical. None of it is based in logic. You just illuminated my overall point about it. Knowing, hey, they don't question FICA. They don't question paying for all of this stuff that they pay for. But the moment someone of color brings up reparations, it is a level 5 fire. It's so irritating, dude. I swear it is. It bothers me. He like, you read it. I'm sorry.
Like Sharita said, he likes bussy, right? I've never.
That is actually really funny.
That's crazy.
Oh my god! But yeah, man.
No, you're right. Racism is illogical, and that's why most of the time, if you find a white person that's racist, they're probably ignorant. Like a lot of what racism is based on is ignorance, right? It's like the belief that another human is less than you because of the skin color, because of their skin color, is just that's ignorant in itself, right? Like so.
Wild work.
But no, it's really not though, because I look at us black people, we're superior to them because if the sun shines for 365 days, the sun never went down, they wouldn't survive. Their skin is not made for that. physically they're not superior to us, and intellectually they're not superior to us. You see what I'm saying? So it is, but it's the reverse role. Those people are conquerors people. You know what I'm saying? Because they went and took a small group of Africans from Africa and brought us over here and been suppressing us. A lot of that was fear too and intimidation. Fear and intimidation is a motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? Because, like I think about when that time Kanye West was like, well, why does the slaves never had an uprising? And it was a lot of them. We just don't hear about all of them. A lot of that, so much of that stuff they hide from us in history. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, with when like sometimes like when I was at the school and they'd be talking about Black history, and I'd be like, don't start us off as slaves because we had a legacy and a history before slavery. Slavery is part of our history and legacy, but that's not where we come from. And everybody won kings and queens. You had artisans, you had masons, you had mechanics, you had people that knew agriculture. It was the African community in Africa was a bunch of different people made up into a community like it is now. You feel what I'm saying? Like my whole thing is like when I hear white people feel like they civilized us, what the fuck do you think those people were doing over there before y'all even came over? You feel what I'm saying? Like what the fuck you think? You think they was just sitting over there?
Even in reverse, even though there's some things about our physiology that is just a blessing from God, I wouldn't say Black people are superior to white people. I wouldn't say that. I think
don't know where that comes from.
I believe all humans are created equal. I don't, we all have our nuances.
Bro, we not.
We all have our nuances.
We not.
So,
okay. All I have to,
like me and you ain't superior to LeBron James. We not superior to LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? And we not the same as LeBron James. Now, our biology, our biological makeup might be identical, but even with white people, their biological makeup is different from us. Their bone density is different from us. How do you think when paleontologists go look and they could tell and we ain't even got to use paleontologists, we can use forensic people that look for found bodies from years ago. How do you think they could tell, because me and my guy had this conversation, how do you think they could tell Caucasoid skeletal remains from Negroid skeletal remains? It's a difference. Now we can sit up there and play this.
That's not an indicator of superiority. Look, just because LeBron James plays in the NBA doesn't mean he's a superior human. It means he's a much better athlete. It don't mean he's superior to anyone.
I just want to ask one question, Dion. What evidence do you have to support that? Like, where could I look up right now and find out that Black people are more superior than white people? I'm sorry, dude. That's so far off. That's not true, because I know there are some we had a white student who a few years ago who was smarter than every Black student I had come across. Every one of them intellectually. We had another few years after that. There was this young dude from Los Angeles that was smarter, and he was Black than every other student there. So it doesn't matter, man. That literally, as far as what I've seen, I mean, are you going by standardized testing, or are you going by like historical data, what we created? Like, where are you going with that? Because I'm actually confused by that one specifically, because I don't see any truth in that.
Well, hold on now. Sarita's making a point. She said, "We are way better, Kevin. We are stronger and smarter. Our melanin stands stronger. Hair is tighter." She said, "We are way more superior. Fuck all that." So, listen. What I'm saying is, I said we all have our nuances. Of course, we have some. Black people have some gifts that you cannot explain. Like Dion spoke on our ability. I say we're the children of the sun.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can tell, and the sun is the most powerful thing in the universe. We can deal with that. Our the way we revolutionize everything that we do, the way we walk, talk, dress, cook, eat, everything we do there's some special parts of it, right? But I'm not going to justify Black people just rounding up white people, killing them, saying we're superior to them. I would say we are not. We're all human. We're all humans. Because what happens when you get white men who say, and this is kind of like the base of racism, we're intellectually superior to these people. and everybody chimes in, and then you get this whole movement, right? Anytime any group of people feel like we're superior to them because of our racial identity, we got a problem. I personally believe, and I love being black, and I think black people is the shit, okay? But I don't say we're superior to any other race, or that we should be able to kill them or take their rights or exploit them or do some of the things that have been done to us. I just don't believe that I don't believe that that's valid.
Now I will say this, because as far as intellectual superiority comes from environmental. You know what I mean? It's where you're from. Like, for instance, I'll use my children as an example. Every year, my kids would be in some type of educational program. My kids went to the schools that strengthened in math, reading comprehension, and science. That's where we sent our children, to schools like that. So what happens when you take Emerson? That's my son's name. When Emerson is around his other cousins that were at MPS, he sounds like he's 4 years ahead of them. And it's unintentional because of the way he speaks. If they have little games and stuff, the way he can figure out problems is different. But if you take that same kid and you put him in my son's situation, he's going to probably do the exact same thing, or you never know, he could be better. So it's all environment when it comes to intellectual, quote unquote, I don't even like to say superiority, but when it comes to people being able to be better on tests and stuff like that. Thank you. When you have intellectual, educational advantages, yeah, you're going to be smarter. And white people historically have had better schools and stuff like that. I guess, I mean, collectively, that's even hard for me to say too, because I know a lot of white people that grew up poor. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of hard. Yeah, I don't know about that one, man. I'm trying to rationalize it, but I'm trying.
You said we run all sports educationally. Yeah, we run the hell out of some sports, and we don't own shit. Who owns the teams? Right? Like, we don't run shit. We sweat athletes. We sweat athletes who make hundreds of millions of dollars. Owners make hundreds of billions of dollars. I was watching a documentary.
We don't run shit.
I was watching the documentary on the Cowboys on Netflix and just listening to Jerry Jones's story. Come on, man. Like,
exactly. Just because it lets you know what time it is for real.
And it's funny when he makes the sound, the first oil, the oil rig that he found that made him rich is when he makes the sound, and he said the oil rig goes, and he talks about how he couldn't stop hearing that noise in his head no matter what. It's a crazy story. And he, very humble beginnings. His dad was a grocery store owner, right? Like, so down south, rednecks, basically. So
racist too, by the way.
White people have better schools. I don't know that they have better schools. I think a lot of times, economically, they came from families that were able to
that's what I
have parents that were more involved in their education. Because, you know, you can be the poorest school district and you can be the poorest neighborhood, but if the parents are involved in the process of educating their children, that education has way more value. You're gonna have kids that are way more motivated, way more involved in you know, pursuing whatever educational goals that they have. So I wouldn't necessarily say white people always had the best schools. They did have access to resources, because once again,
that's what I mean by best schools, the resources.
The parents and the taxpayers in those communities demanded that, right? Like, a lot of times, us in the black community, we don't make certain demands, right? Like, how many people can say they go up to their kid's school and talk to the teachers? Now, you go up there when
they go up there and want to whoop the teacher ass.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When little Ron come home and say, "Mama, she pushed me," you know, here she come with her bonnet on. Yeah, let me tell you something. Like, hold on. You ain't come up here when we sent you a letter that said that he's reading in the lowest percentile in the district. You ain't come up here. But you want to come up here because he said I pushed him. I mean, you know, I don't, because life is going to life with them just like it does with me. And nobody's felt sorry for our generation. It is what it is. Like, we got to where we're at.
We were different though.
And
we were different. We had an idea of self-awareness. These children, and I'm saying, I work at MPS and I see it every day. And we talking about the younger children. We ain't talking about the high schoolers. So they might have a chance with these little kids. I'm gonna say maybe I believe they're gonna bring slavery back. It might not be in the form of slavery as property, but it's gonna be some form. Those children are not gonna have an idea of what they're facing. Seriously.
Oh, I can expound on that.
Like it's crazy. It's crazy though. You see, like we had an idea of self-awareness because we had parents. Like you say, your mama, you talk about them all the time. Like I see about my grandfather, born in 1925 in Arkansas, sharecropper, told me about my history. Like I tell people, you know what I'm saying? Even though I didn't go about it the right way, I have been militant for a long time, but I just went about it the wrong way. Instead of, I try to buck against the system. You know, like I felt like I was a lion and I had to eat. That's the reason I sold cocaine. I didn't have to sell cocaine. I had every opportunity in the world to do whatever that anybody else did, especially by some of the people that I had, but I chose not to. I chose not to go to the army because I felt like, why would I want to fight for a country that never wanted me here and wanted to do anything for me? That's one reason why I never went to the military. So I look at my life, but these children, they have no self-awareness. Because first of all, if your mama's 22 or 25, she don't really have no self-awareness. She's thinking about, I be seeing these girls, they pop. And then another thing about these kids, they high. And I don't mean like they high like they've been using drugs. They was born under every drug. Molly, perk, ecstasy, fentanyl, syrup, all this strong ass, intoxicating ass weed, cut water, all the drinks, whatever popular drink was out. These children are definitely facing a dire, if not instinctual, you know what I'm saying, where they might become extinct. And like I say, I see it, and it's just, oh my God, I'm gonna have to put you on mute because my dog's down there fighting. God damn it! I'll get back to you. I'm about to.
Now let me get to the chat room. I want to make sure that everybody's heard in the chat room. Sharita says no, they fucked around and found out they can't just come and kill us anymore because we will whoop their asses all the time. That's why they're scared of us. Listen, I'll tell you this: if it came down to it, right, like where the white people decided they were going to ride on us, I question how many of us would be down for the fight. Because, like I said, we talk a lot of shit, right? Like, you know, it's a lot of black people talk shit, but they ain't gonna throw a rock in a goddamn in a fight. Like, so it's different now in terms of them just riding out on us like they used to. But I still think they could do it. I mean, and if you look at the institutions like the law enforcement and the government, the United States military could say, no, we're gonna support these white supremacists. It would be a bloodbath. Don't get me wrong. But I like when black people break their arm, patting themselves on the back, how tough we are nowadays. I'm here to tell you, most of these loudmouth black people out here that talk the most shit ain't gonna do a damn thing. They ain't gonna fight shit. They're gonna run and hide. They'll be running past you on your way to the fight. She says that's where racism comes in, that we're better in sports, but yes, they do run them. But nobody talk about the big three by Ice Cube. People talk about it, but it ain't on the same ground as the NBA.
Absolutely not. It
ain't the same. And congratulations to Ice Cube for that. But come on, man. Like,
yeah, big three, dope. I like it, but
yeah,
it ain't the
thing.
It ain't the NBA.
It ain't touching the NBA. Kerry Walker says they are able to say they are better than us, and it's taken at face value. We have to prove we're better, and still not believed. Look at the president. That motherfucker can't spell. He can't talk. He can't read. But he's a billionaire president. He can't do shit.
He failed upward.
What up? What up, Ruben? How you doing, man? He said, what is the caller's name? He tight. You talking about Dion? I think you're talking about Dion. Earl Henning said his kids are acting up. So let me tell you this about the kids of today. And this is just my personal take on it. And, you know, as a former public school teacher, and I've worked in juvenile probation for years, I've worked with young people to a very, very, very high extent. I think what's hurting our young people, particularly right now, the most is the lack of strong males in their lives. Yes. I can tell you for a fact, sisters do the best that they can. And shout out to all the single mothers out here who doing what they got to do for their kids because, you know, the father is in the wind for whatever reason. But in particular, when it comes to raising young men, it's very hard for a woman to raise a young man. It is just very hard because of the way she is based on nurturing and emotion. And men are not generally real men, masculine men, are not really based on emotion. They're based on logic and understanding. And so a lot of times when kids are young, there's a foundation established. So one behavior presents a reaction from those around you. So you're going to get disciplined, you're going to get corrected, or you're going to get rewarded. Sometimes young men need to be disciplined more so than young ladies. Now, I had a daughter and I have a son. I have a daughter and I have a son. It was two different means of them growing up. She didn't really need me to harshly discipline her because she's a young lady. She's very emotional. She responded emotionally to almost everything. My son, just by him being a young man and a man's mind is telling him, hey, do this, do that. Sometimes you had to really get in that ass and say, yo, it's about to be a problem around here in order for him to understand. Same thing with me, with my dad. My dad was the coolest dude you ever met in your entire life. Like, right? But he was a man. He was not, wasn't no denying or doubting it. When he spoke in reality. He spoke real shit, right? So you knew he wasn't playing when he talked to you. So if it came down to it and my brother and myself was way left of the line, it was what I like to refer to nowadays as the strong arm, which meant we knew we were going to get dealt with differently by him than our mom. Because most of the time when we was doing some wild shit, my mother was having an emotional reaction because it was driving her crazy. He wasn't having an emotional reaction. He was having the logical reaction of, listen, I don't want to have to work all day and come home and hear this bullshit. And I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to pass the buck to y'all asses if I got to come home and deal with this. And as a result, guess what? He didn't have to do nothing to us a lot. He didn't have to,
chilled out
because we responded to him like a man. Like we knew, hey, yo, that's a man. Don't play around with pops like that. Yeah. And so a lot of times,
get fucked up.
A lot of times when young men, especially when they're babies, and they cry and they act out, mom's first reaction is emotional. Oh, my poor baby. I don't want my baby to be hurt. I don't want him to be, uncomfortable. Let me see what's wrong, baby. That's her first reaction, right? So she'll, oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby. Whereas a man will be like, hey, man, shut your ass up and get over there and sit down. I don't give a damn what you're crying for. I said, stop crying. It's a different kind of governance. And so I believe our community suffers today, and the proof is in the pudding with, look at the average young man, right? Especially if he doesn't have a dad in his life, or if he doesn't have a strong male role model, like if he don't got them uncles, or if he don't got, some influences around him, he's super emotional. When he doesn't get what he wants or things don't go his way, his reaction is almost feminine. Like you see a lot of these youngsters now, young men, when they get mad, what's the first thing they do? They cry. You know who does that? Women. Women cry, right? And I'm not saying a man shouldn't cry, but I'm saying your initial reaction to things
should not be tears.
For me, it's either masculine or feminine. And I think the lack of fathers in our community that and father figures that actually run the community. See, during my day, the men ran the community. That was Mr. So-and-so, right? He tell you, get your ass off my grass, right? Man, he put time into his yard. He took his family places. He provided for his family. The fact of the matter is now we just don't have those men in the community anymore. And I think it is hurting our youngsters. And all of this is not to say that young ladies don't need a man for positive reinforcement to tell them, no, don't worry about it. You are beautiful. You don't allow this, don't allow that, don't allow a man to do this or that, because they need that as well. But I think for young men, they are suffering the most by not having their dads. And you need your daddy. It's cool to have a stepdaddy. It's cool to have, some mentor, but you need your daddy because he knows you, because he can see himself in you. And he can relate to you because he can say, this is my boy right here. I understand where this comes from. So we need a lot more dads. We need a lot more strong black men in the community. Stop falling for the okie doke and the banana in the tailpipe and going to prison for all of the dumb shit that we do, getting ourselves killed, or just running off. Like just having babies just randomly just running off and then not taking care of them. How you got 5 babies by 5 girls and you don't take care of not one of them? Now that's some punk shit to me. That is some punk shit. So, and I know a long time ago, and I always talk about this where women have asked me in the past, like, yo, what do you tell your guy who doesn't take care of his kids? And my response has always been, I don't have no guys who don't take care of their kids. None of my partners who I'm cool with, that I'm tight with, none of them are fathers who don't take care of their kids. They take care of their children because and we hold each other accountable to that. And I'd be willing to say to one of my partners, if he was that way, like, yo, man, you need to get your son, man. Don't you? Little dog needs you, man. That's a conversation we'd be able to have without him being offended. So I would say Dion said they don't have a sense of self. I just think we need more examples of strong men, and we need more daddies in the homes with enough authority to be able to raise their kids without mama saying, no, don't do that. That's my baby. Leave my baby alone. Don't yell at him. You don't want nobody say nothing to this dude. I tell you what, one day the police gonna say something to him. Because a hard head sure enough make a soft ass. Let me go to the chat room. Erica Hunt says, she said, I low-key never wanted to be a working mom. I wanted to be an at-home mom to tend to my children. She said, I dislike how y'all associate crying with being a woman. If men were not to cry, why does God give y'all tears too? Once again, you have to listen at what I said for what I said, not for what you want to hear.
Yeah.
I didn't say that a man can't cry. I didn't say he shouldn't cry. I think that it should be a time and a place to cry. Okay.
Yeah.
And so
not
I'm
for every little thing.
Not for every little emotional, not for every little situation. And my father used to tell me this. He say, hey man, this ain't something you need to cry about. Say them tears when it's time to cry, right? So me getting upset because I didn't get my way wasn't something I could cry about. But if when my grandmother died, he let me bawl my face off. Right?
Yeah.
If it was something that was really there that drew tears, I'm all for it. Right, go ahead. But I'm just saying, and let's be honest, women cry about things that you look at her and say, I don't understand why you cry. Women cry when they're happy sometimes. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh, this is it. Like, why are you crying?
And ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just we don't do that shit. We shouldn't be doing it.
Orlando said, agreed. Our children need those strong men and fathers. Ruben Anderson said, amen. And Orlando Owens said, I am pro man. Well, be careful. Or he said he's pro man. Be careful, Orlando.
Pro masculinity.
You gotta say no Diddy after that. Right. I'm just saying. Listen, and once again, I'm not saying that a man should never cry. To be in touch with your emotions is a good thing. What I'm saying is every situation that you get, because you get into situations and when you're in a relationship and you got a family where it might be a crisis, somebody has to be the rock, right? Like, so if mom's upset and she crying and dad go to crying, how we gonna fix this shit? Both of y'all is, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's just right. Well, one is hold on, just calm down, Dad. I got this. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, kind of
I just think that there's certain milestones for masculinity and certain benchmarks for femininity, right? Like, I'm nowhere near as nurturing as my wife is. Never could be, never would be. I don't have the capacity to cuddle and say, oh baby, poor baby. No, don't cry like that. I'm more or less to sit the kid down and say, hey, first of all, stop crying. You got to tell me what's wrong so I can help you. Right?
I can't talk to you if you crying. I can't understand you.
Man, listen, come on, man. And I'm going to tell you the truth. With my mom, you couldn't come in the house crying. You couldn't do it. If you fail, I don't care if you got a busted head, a skint knee, whatever. She's going to tell you when you stop crying, I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
So you had to, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't she just no. Stop it. Stop crying.
And if you honestly, and my mom, Lula, if you did that for too long, she smacked the shit out of you. If she know that you crying for no reason, you gonna get your ass whooped because but the thing is, she was right. What am I sitting here? I'm trying to gain sympathy. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make you see things a certain way. No, let me figure out what's going on. Let me chill. And like you said, Oh man, mom, I fell off my dirt bike or whatever. I hurt my hand. Oh, did you break something? And that's when they get to help you. Not when you like, what is you like?
What you're saying, I can understand too. That my mother would eventually get
Yeah, my
frustrated and
mom
be
would
like,
get
"Look,"
mad. Yeah,
especially when she figures out that what you crying about ain't something stupid, right? And she say, "You gonna sit your ass up here and cry? That's what you crying about? I beat your ass." Like it was, and she also would tell my dad, like, "Yo, dude is a crybaby. You need to talk to him. He cry about everything, and he'd sit you down and say, man, listen to me. I understand life is tough sometimes, but you can't cry about everything, son. Sometimes you got to suck it up and keep it pushing. That's what a man is." I don't know how many lessons I got from my father when I was young of him saying, "That's what a man got to do." That was the end. That was the moral of the story. When I would say, "But why?" Because that's what a man got to do, son.
My
That's just
pops
how it is.
and uncles was like that. They always were like that. Like if you sitting around crying, my Uncle Earl gonna look you square in your face like, what are you talking about? Earl Sappho wasn't no joke. He was a nice man. I mean, Jesus Christ. Uncle Earl's alive. He's in Florida. I'm sorry about that. Aunt Betty passed away.
You done put the man in the grave.
I know, but dude, he was not a joke, man. And he never. I never seen him whoop his kids. He just always had a certain tone, and they did what the fuck he told them to do, and me included, because we lived upstairs on 13th and Capitol. So yeah, man, I understand exactly what you're saying. It wasn't no room for that. Now, if my sister cried, it was a little different. Like, man, Aisha, what's going on? You okay? And she's more emotional, so she's gonna be emotional. So you're gonna be like, oh, it's okay.
And I would not want to be with a woman that wasn't emotional, because I don't want her harder than me. So I don't need no woman telling me, "Look, listen, nigga, calm down. It's gonna be all right." And I'd be like, "Hey, you need to back. What the hell is wrong with you?
Take that bass out your voice and put on a brassiere. What's wrong with you?"
You got on. Earl said, "That's hard to live with who's not a team player." Erica said, "Oh yeah, I'm exiting the conversation. Y'all in the caveman mode. I don't. Here we go. This is it right here. Why is it that when men talk about masculinity, women say, "Oh, see, I don't even want to."
That's the new age,
I don't understand
man.
why would a woman think she can even? You don't have a dog in the fight when men are talking about being men. You're not one, so how can you tell a man anything about being a man? So I don't know what.
I'll go even deeper from a psychological standpoint. Hold on 1 second. Let me make my point about this one. She literally just said in the comments, and Eric, I'm not going after you. I'm just using you as an example because of what you said. You literally said in the comments that you wanted to be in a more traditional role. The way you're in a traditional role is when you have a traditional man, and a traditional man does not act on emotion in any capacity. That's the shit we be talking about. And that's why so many women hated the brother that passed away, Kevin Samuels. That's not caveman mode. That's the way things are supposed to be. It's called the order of the universe. Because if something happens,
maybe it is though. Maybe me telling my son, "Hey, you got to man up. Look, you can't allow small things to affect your mood to the point where you become emotional." Maybe that is caveman mode. But maybe that is caveman mode. Is that bad?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it is. It is. It's going back to the beginning of civilization. That's how things are supposed to be. Men are supposed to lead. Not saying women cannot be leaders, but the thing is, the man is supposed to be strong. The man is supposed to be masculine. That's in our DNA. Why is there an issue when a man says something like that? "Oh, y'all in caveman mode." No, we're not. Sons are supposed to be led by their fathers, who are prime examples of how to be successful emotionally, have that intelligence, and the lead. Why wouldn't you want your son like that?
Sharita says the crazy thing, women are raising strong women as men, and at the same time, they're raising men as strong women. They will coddle their son before their daughter.
Point.
Well, that was why I said
that's true. I do believe that. I do believe that. So let me give you an example real quick. My girl,
hold on, Dion. Let me finish. Hold on, Dion. Let me finish the chat room. Erica says that's how I talk to my children, but then I've been told I'm a little bit too hood. I'm a little hood ninja. She said I can tell you how to be a human. Yeah. Okay. She said you being emotional now, clapping your hands and raising your voice because you don't agree with my comment. I think she's talking to Ian because I don't remember clapping my hands.
She is because honestly, I know what you're saying. As far as me, it's not even really being emotional. I'm just being passionate about it because honestly, to me, the comment, I didn't agree with it. But I mean, if you're trying to be funny or take a jab, I mean, come on, man. Come on.
Kerry Walker Jones says, bad example. Kevin Samuels was full of shit. He was a hypocrite
No, he
who
was
battered
not.
women with his gay ass. Ugh, shit. And see, this is
That's
one thing I
what I'm
noticed too.
saying.
This is what I noticed too. A lot of women get offended when men talk about asserting their masculinity. A lot of women do get offended by that and be like, "Oh, now you full of shit," and like, and so it's like a lot of times you got women who want to tell men how they should be men. And my thing to them is, how would you know? It's be like me telling you how to be a woman. I have no way to. I've never been a woman. I can't tell you.
I have no dog in that fight, and it's insulting if I try to tell you how to be a woman. It's insulting. I'm a man. I don't know how it is to be no freaking woman. It's disrespectful.
Dion, you was trying to drop something in there, man. What was you trying to say? I cut you off because I was trying to finish the chat room.
Well, for one, a lot of African American women adapted to feminism culture, you know, and they've been indoctrinated with it, you know, and they don't really want to see it because you have, like I use an example sometimes. I had this talk with women all the time. You know, you hear women, they be like a strong black woman. When you ever heard them say a strong Mexican woman, a strong Asian woman, a strong Puerto Rican woman, a strong Chinese woman, but a strong black woman? So when mothers indoctrinate their daughters to be strong black women, you don't need no man. That's the result of women out here feeling like they don't need no man. And then I was telling you how that's true, how women will kick their daughters out and put them out there by themselves, but coddle their sons. Like my girl's daughter drives from Philadelphia home to Chicago with the 12 hours. But her son, she go down there and get that cocksucker from Huntsville and drive him back. I'd be so pissed about that shit. I'd be like, the fuck? You know, like he a whole man. You know what I'm saying? Like he should want to drive and show. Nigga, if you got to drive 3 hours and take you a rest and drive every 3 hours, nigga, do it. But she fly down there and bring his cocksucking ass back and bought him another truck. And, you know, like, but, you know, I don't ever
be wanting to drive the whole family.
You shouldn't refer to him as you shouldn't refer to him as a cocksucker either, but you know, it is what
he might see this shit then.
Cocksucker. Yeah, you know, but still though, you know, so yes, but you know, a lot of times, you know, and then like, you know, when you guys talking about us as black people, you know, segregation and all that, and we have so many vices, and I ain't gonna say vices, but we have so many hiccups within ourselves. Like, for one, you got the black man against the black woman. White women get on a accord with they white men. You know, even though they knew they feminism, I mean, they knew they abortion rights was going to be fucked up and everything that Trump was going to do, them white men told them women, go out there, you better vote your ass for Trump. That's what they did. But, you know, they stay on the court with it. They don't really too much go against the grain like that. You know, they went out there and did that suffrage shit, that women's suffrage shit. But that was only because they allowed African-American men to vote before the white woman got a chance to vote. And then, you know, black women wouldn't took, you know, when it adapted that feminism shit, you know what I'm saying? That's why so many lesbians out here, because they feel like we don't need a man, we can love ourselves. Like with that Valentine's Day shit, you know, a bunch of and you know, like when I see women, a bunch of lonely ass women gather together, I'd be like, them ain't nothing but some lonely ass single bitter bitches is getting together and they mad because they neither one of them got no men. And they man bashing and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I just be looking at that shit. But yeah, the you know, you got the black woman against the black man against the black man, the white man against the black man, the Chinese man. Like black men, we are public enemy number one. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we can't even, you know, get a break from this shit. You know, and when you have strong, intellectual, positive black men say, "Hey, sister, you know, you probably do need a man. I don't need no motherfucking man to guide me with look. Go out there and put them motherfucking brakes on your car. Don't need no man when you know, and they don't like women either. They need a man to be the electrician. They want him to be the roofer.
They go change that catalytic converter.
They want him to be the police to protect them. They want him to do all that. But when it's time to guide her motherfucking ass, you can't tell me what to do, this, that, and the other. But you want me to
wired in porch lights.
And pay for the pussy, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, now. So you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I'm against the black woman like she against the black man. You know,
Go jailbreak that fire stick.
I don't need to procreate no more and have no kids and nothing like that. I'm done at 50 years old. You know,
So let me go back to the chat room. Erica said, "My son, a man. I taught him well and let the caveman tell the woman can't raise a man." Well, you know what? I think I started out by saying shout out to sisters who doing what they got to do, because the
That's
man,
exactly
the
what
daddy who you know was supposed to be there is not there. And I've never said that there hasn't been some strong men raised by single mothers, but that's the exception to the rule, not the norm. More often than not, if you take 5 young men and take 2 who were raised by their dads and 3 who weren't, more often than not, the three young men who were raised by their mothers are going to be more effeminate, and they're going to be less emotionally solid, less emotionally mature. So if you did a good job on your kids, congratulations. If you did a good job on your son, congratulations.
Exactly.
I'm not here to take credit from women who've done it, right? Like, because we know there's women who've raised male children. And we were speaking about the community as a whole, not just your household. So this whole conversation came about because Dion was speaking to the fact that what young children are suffering from in our community right now. He identified it as a lack of self-awareness. I said I felt like that there needed to be more fathers, more strong fathers and male role models in the community. So it wasn't necessarily an indictment on any single black woman. It's not tell a black woman, hey, you can't raise no man, right? Because I don't know what her capacity is, right? Like, she may be able to really be as much of a father figure as that man needs. But I'm telling you right now, it's not the norm, and it's a very difficult journey, especially in today's society when you got youngsters, especially young men, being pulled and tugged on by so many different forces. It's very hard to raise a young man. Whether you agree or not, though, it is what it is.
And let's be honest, it's also not ideal. Why are people so quick to act like just our situations are what they should be? What is ideal is to have a 2-parent household, strictly from a financial standpoint. You don't need all this other stuff is ridiculous to even say. Well, now you have single mothers and single fathers that do well, though. You know,
it's one of those things where if the shoe fits, buy a matching purse. So a lot of times when we talk about something that ails our community, people say, well, that ain't me. Like, it's because we personalize everything.
Nobody was talking about you.
Well, I understand her. If she feels like she's done a good job raising her man, I'm not here to take raising her son into a man. I'm not here to take credit. I'm not here to take her credit from her. Good job. Kudos to you. Because really, I mean, it's your child. You really should.
And exactly. She did what she had to do, because obviously, like she said, she was put in that position. And whoever put her in that position, you know what, man, kudos to her. And hey, homie, you know, help her out a little bit.
Right. You know? Earl Henny said, who said pussy costs more than dick? How come I knew Earl was gonna say that at some point during this conversation?
Every show.
We never even brought up cost allocation at all in this conversation. Ruben says, so true. Erica said, as a woman, I don't any man tell me I can't have an option because I am not a man. An option to do an opinion.
No, an opinion. She's like, I can't have an opinion because you're not a man. You know what?
Who said you couldn't have an opinion? I can tell you this.
No one said that, but that's how she
took it. I can tell you this, Erica. I can tell you this. There's no way. You could argue until you blue in the face.
I was just about to go where you're going.
You can't tell a man anything about being a man. Don't care how much you disagree. It's just not. It's just like I can't tell a woman how to be a woman because I'm not one. Right?
Nope.
So you can't. You don't have a dog in the fight. You can't tell a man how to be a man. Now, if you got a man that's doing some foul shit and you want to call him on it, I'm not saying you can't do that, but we're talking about defining masculinity. You don't understand it because it's something that you weren't born with.
Yeah,
it's not one of your nuances. Unless you were born.
Believe men and women are identical, which is ridiculous because we're not.
Right. So
and she doesn't believe that. She's educated. She know better. She know that's not the case.
Kerry Walker Jones said he tried to tell women how to be women. That's masculine. You talking about who are we talking about?
She's talking about Kevin Samuels, and that's not what he did. He was talking about from women that he has interviewed, that he talked to, and that he talked about that told him this is what women like or whatever. He just did a lot of research, and men too. And I seen him bash men on his show before. So yeah, the thing is, women get so upset by him, and I actually get irritated because I'm like, why do you hate him so much? It doesn't make any sense.
Gary says, Kevin, you missed my comment, but coddling a boy is probably the worst thing a woman can do to her son.
Yep.
Ewok said niggas be wearing dresses and bitches acting tough.
It's against nature. Exactly. The fuck.
Sharita Shaw said they be like, you don't need no nigga. What? You don't need no nigga to their daughter, but raise the son to replace her man or be expecting for him to get a wife. You know what? I don't know that I've ever told my daughter that she didn't need a man. What I told her was she shouldn't allow a man to mistreat or disrespect her.
Yeah, that's different.
And then turn around and reason the reason why she allowed that to happen is because she needed a man. No. In that regard, you don't need a man.
No, you don't. Don't be logical about that aspect of it.
And to be honest, I don't think a man needs a woman or a woman needs a man. I think it's more important that you want a man or that you want a woman. Because when you're in a relationship, like I don't need my wife to survive. Like I don't need she doesn't make my heart beat or she doesn't give me oxygen. But I want her. Right? Like needing and depending on somebody and wanting somebody is two different things. So yes. I think, and I think vice versa. She don't need me. She could survive.
She do well without you, possibly.
Man, probably even better, right? But the fact that she wants me is different. So I don't know that, I would never necessarily tell my daughter, you don't need no man. I would tell her, you should. It's natural for you to want a man and to want some companionship from the opposite sex. But you should not allow somebody to mistreat you just to say you have a man. Like you don't need no man for that. No. And then this is the second part. She said, but raise the son to replace her man or be expecting for him to get a wife. Once again, I would wish that my son wanted a wife. I want him to want a woman. I want him to say, Dad, I want to be with this woman. I don't want him to say, Dad, I can't live without this woman. Because then I'm gonna say, son, hold on now. Wait a minute. Now you're doing too much. What you mean you can't live without? Hold on now. You becoming codependent. This might be a bad relationship. I would love to hear him say, Dad, I want to spend my life with this woman. That's how much I care about her. So it ain't necessarily about
completely different. Yep, I agree. Yeah, that's different.
He said they'd be on some golden girl ass shit. Who's that? Erica said, OMG, I'm crying because y'all don't agree that I should be part of the caveman conversation. Now, which one of you men is going to hold my hand till I stop crying? I didn't say you couldn't be part of the conversation unless you're going to tell a man how to be a man or try to define what masculinity is to me. Other than that, you can be a part of the conversation all you want, but I'm pretty sure Ian wouldn't mind holding your hand until you stop crying based on, some of the comments he's made on past shows.
So sound effect afterwards.
She said, lower your tone. I might start crying. You might. You might. I hope not. But it wasn't meant for you to. It wasn't meant for you to.
We do not want you to cry, Erica. That's too funny.
I feel the narrative of women can teach men how to men. This is Carrie Walker said, having a 2-parent household is not the best. My husband was good for his daughters, but not good for me or my son. So I had to make a choice. Okay. Individual experience.
That's understandable. Individual experience. It is. I'm sorry. Any statistical metric will point to kids coming from 2-parent households do better financially, educationally. That is and I normally don't say that. You're wrong. Your situation is different, though. Your situation was good, but it's not the normal. It's not the most ideal, but your situation worked out for you. And I know, all of you, most of you in the chat are Christians. You thank your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, like I do every day. Your situation worked out, but it's not ideal for the most part. That's all. When I say stuff like that, that is all I'm saying. But we cannot act like 2-parent households are bad because you had a 1-parent household and it was good. Because I noticed, and I'm not saying you, Carrie, because I did not ever hear you say that or seen any comments, but I've been to some of these spaces, and Kevin, I know you don't be jumping in the comments and stuff, but sometimes I look for stuff to research. And quite frankly, you'll have people that'll say things like it'll be a meme and it'll say 75% of all kids that come from 2-parent households do better than this. And you have a person say that's not true because it's completely true. But it doesn't mean a 1-parent household isn't good. And that's kind of my point. So yeah, that's kind of wild.
So she says, this is Erica. She said it's crazy that y'all don't understand fathers raise a better woman and a woman make a stronger man when you have a 2-parent household. The only reason I would disagree with that is because I didn't have a chance at making my daughter as great a woman as my wife did. I know a lot of what she got in terms of being a strong young black woman came directly from her mother. And it was
why did she have that, Kevin?
I couldn't provide it to her. Her mom provided it for her.
You know what? Think about it.
I did like this because I didn't want her to be a tomboy and I didn't want her to be a lesbian or a butch.
Yep.
So her mother, that's her mom. So I don't know that a man make a better woman. I don't know. I think it helps. It benefits a young girl to have her father around, but I don't know about the accuracy of that statement.
It does benefit young women to have strong fathers and vice versa. But the thing is, though, the reason when you have some of these women and they look at their mothers and their mothers are intellectually sound, emotionally stable, and they're successful in every aspect of their life, of course, they're going to be like, wow, I'm going to emulate that. And that's when you have those things, just like you. Now, on the flip side, you being a great man, I can already see without speaking to your daughter the type of man she's going to want to marry. I can see it already because look at how my dad treated my mom. And that's why 2-parent households are ideal. And that's all I'm saying that people like me are saying when we say
certain stuff that my daughter ain't going to even bring to me. She's going to go straight to her mother with it.
Exactly.
Because it's a woman thing, right? And I wouldn't feel bad about it. And I would hope that there's certain things that my son will come to me about when it comes to masculinity that he wouldn't take to his mama. But even if he did, she said, you need to go talk to your daddy about that. And so he's
not supposed to work, man.
Right. And that's the ping pong. That's the 2-parent ping pong that you play.
Yes.
Gary said, what was you watching? Because everything I watched, he was telling women they couldn't get meaningful relationships because they were too fat, had too many kids, too old. He called a woman dumb. He was a freaking abusive, low-life piece of shit. I didn't watch Kevin Samuel. I wasn't a Kevin Samuel's disciple, so I don't know. I seen one episode where he asked a man about his private parts, and I was pretty much done after that.
Now, I ain't never seen that one.
He let women know. This is what I like about him. He let women know, hey, listen, you not the top tier. You got 5, 6 kids. You need to lower your motherfucking standards for real. And I feel him on that though, because you got all the motherfucking kids. You not the top tier. I don't give a fuck if you got a PhD. You use good. You a used car. It's like a Lexus with 0 miles.
Hold on, D. D, hold on, D. The thing is, though, D, the one thing I noticed, though, the one thing that I noticed, though, and this is what a lot of women do, and this is why my daughter and my ex-wife used to really get into it over Kevin Samuels, because my daughter loves him, because she was like, Daddy, when women came out of pocket, he just hit them with reality. Like, for instance, this is going to sound harsh, but this is the reality of it. I have a friend. She was dating this guy, multimillionaire, all this stuff. And she kept telling me, and I mean, he was dogging her. Like the stuff she was telling me. I'm like, he don't care about you, Eva. He don't care about you. Well, no, he trusts me with his bank accounts and whatever. I said, is that his man? I said, how much? And I knew he was a millionaire. How much money he have in his bank account? Well, you know, he never had more than that because of this. So she had every excuse in the world. She had 4 different kids, 4 different baby daddies. They got together. The thing that he liked, quite frankly, was having sex with her. So when you say that I was watching him tell women they couldn't get meaning relationships because they were too fat, had too many kids, too old, and he called the women dumb. Maybe because the woman he was talking to, he didn't say all women were dumb. The woman he was talking to, he felt she was unintelligent. And there are some people that are overweight. Sorry. And men that are 7-figure men, 6-figure men, they have plenty of options. Why is he going to choose a woman that won't take care of herself? Because if you won't take care of yourself, you won't take care of me. That's the mentality. So far as his show and his demographic was,
people now.
No, that's not what I mean. But I'm saying, as far as the show specifically, that's what he was. Man, whatever. He was targeting. He was stupid. He was targeting that audience. He wasn't talking about women like you, Carrie, that take care of your kids, that are intelligent. You're not applicable. You don't matter to him because he wasn't talking about you.
Yeah, but he let women know that you got to lower your motherfucking standards too. You can't sit up there and you're not a virgin. You're not that prime real estate. You're not that prime real estate where you can sit up there with like, I want this type of man and blah, 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 blah. First of all, like I tell women all the time, you want this type of person, but you're not perfect. How the fuck you gonna want somebody that's perfect? I like
and those are the women he was talking about.
Women look at their life he made them look at their life in a different perspective. Like
he broke, but she wants you to be a millionaire type of women. Yes.
If a man is making this type of money, he has plenty of picks. Now, I even tell women that today, and I don't make a lot of money, like it's 1 million women out there. Why are you so special? Women quick to say, I am the table. Fuck the table. I had women say, well, I'm a good woman because I cook, clean, and got a job. No, you're adult.
They listening to Steve Harvey book too fast.
You know what I'm saying? Your personality is fucked up. You feel what I'm saying? Like it takes a lot for a woman to sit up there and be like, I'm a good woman. A good woman don't make it because you take care of your kids. You had them. That's what the fuck you supposed to. Adults have jobs. We pay our bills. We be responsible. It goes with being you got to be a good person. It ain't about being a God-fearing woman and none of that shit. This is about being a level-headed, good person and realizing, hey, I'm not perfect. I have made mistakes and I'm learning. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's how I look at my life now. My life is more about learning and sharing experiences that I have been through with others. But as I make steps towards my life, I'm learning each and every day. And it's about growth. You feel what I'm saying? But when you feel like you have no room no longer to grow, then you just blew out the dam. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even take a word. But I definitely like how he just was like, hey, you're not the table. You're not the table. You know what I'm saying? You got all these kids. You gonna let this man bust you down. Now you talking about you celibate. You celibate after the 9th kid. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you got a bachelor's or PhD or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Look at all the mistakes that you made before you got your life together. You feel what I'm saying?
Bro,
so I definitely like him, and I hate that he passed away. May he rest in peace. I'm about to mute y'all real quick.
Let me go to the chat room, Ian.
Yeah, for sure.
This is Carrie. She said, no disrespect to you, Ian. You believe what you want, but women found him vile and offensive. Some women did.
My daughter loved him.
Sharita Shaw said, golden girl ass shit is from the comment about women don't need a man. Then they die alone. So they shack up together.
I like that. That's true.
I don't know. I don't know that anybody needs another person. I think you want somebody. It's natural for you to want, some compatibility, but what I'm saying, I don't know that, you don't need, every breath I take, baby, I can't live without you. I've never believed in that. This is Carrie Walker saying, why does a man have to tell a woman she's not top tier? Earl Henning said, used car 1977.
Earl got problems. I love Earl. He a fool.
Sarita said, she said, motherfucker, she's laughing.
That's it funny though.
This is Erica Hunt. She said, I'm rolling my eyes because you'll never be able to have an open conversation about this because y'all not willing to learn new methods of being a better human. If that's your opinion, you are welcome to that. I don't, I just think it's counterproductive for me as a man to sit around and let a woman define my masculinity for me. I think that's counterproductive.
It's unrealistic. It's not even no, it's
unrealistic
not.
as well, right? It's not something.
No.
I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You could tell me, yeah, you need to straighten up on this, and to be a better
Yeah,
person. But
absolutely.
we were talking along the lines of masculinity and femininity, not on
This is
moral,
what a man is supposed to do. What?
not on moral grounds on what's good and what's bad.
Yeah.
Carrie says, if she's not for you, move along. Why use break a bitch down tactics to get a woman's attention? There are many millionaires married to big girls.
Yes. Oh my God.
And Erica said, I'm not lowering my standard because I have 4 kids. Earl Henny said, 5 kids, 6 baby daddies.
Now wait till I chime in.
That's not how you uplift women. Who was he to tell a woman anything? He messed with dusty reality stars that got high and got caught with a man and died on top of a fat ass Mexican prostitute. Who the fuck was he to talk? Carrie going off.
God.
Eric Ernest said, I need Erica Hunt to call in. Text can be confusing. Show your work. She did call in. For some reason, my phone dropped the Ewok.
Oh my God.
Terry Walker Jones said, exactly, Kevin. So why should a man define a woman a womanhood? Well, see, now when it comes to Kevin Samuels, I'm gonna tell you my own personal take on it was I kind of agree that, like, who put you in position to tell a person who's who and what's what. But I did peep that a lot of the time you had a lot of women who had unrealistic expectations, right? So you had a woman who didn't have any money herself, maybe perhaps was not educated, probably was dealing with some poverty, dealing with multiple children by multiple men, multiple failed relationships, and she was heavily critical of men. And she defined what she wanted in a man is almost opposite of what she was. He can't have no kids. He got to have all this money. He need to be beautiful. He need to have this. And I think Kevin Samuel's perspective was like, you asking for that, and that's not even you.
And you're not here, and you're not at that level. And that's all. And that's what I was saying, because the one thing I noticed in all of Carrie's comments, she's generalizing. Who is he to tell women? He wasn't talking to women. He was talking to the woman that called his show. He had no issues with women on a whole. He didn't. I've never heard him disrespect women. But like what you said, Kevin, he would break things down on a certain level. He wasn't like that. I never seen him do that. And people used to try to do that on his show.
Let's be honest, but let's be honest. No. One of the most popular sentiments now that you see on social media, or one of the most popular videos that you see a lot, is women telling men about the standards that they need to meet in order to get with them. That's a big time
transactional,
right,
bro.
So
relationships are transactional now, and it's wild.
Popularity was a direct result of that. It was a response to that. The overwhelming number of women who were coming out being so vocal about, you got to have this, you got to have that, you got to have this. And he was saying, if you peel back the layers, you don't have none of the shit you asking for. So it was his attempt to kind of put people in their place. I wasn't necessarily, like I said, I heard the brother talking about, how big is your thing and all that. I'm just kind of like, it's not something that I'm going to listen to, but I can understand why he appealed to some people, because he became their voice to say, hold on, like, you need to reel it in a little bit. And Erica made a statement saying, I'm not going to lower my standard because I have 4 kids. I wouldn't expect you to lower your standard, but I wouldn't expect your standard to be, I don't want no man who got kids, because you got 4.
Exactly. And that's kind of my point with a lot of that stuff, because I'm like, how can you tell me I need to be here and you're here? And my thing is, like, personally, if I date a woman, I don't give a shit where you work. I don't care how much money you make. I generally, I like a person that you can have a conversation with. You know what I'm saying? Like, that you can be conversational with. That's a good person. I mean, personally, I do like a woman that believes in God. I have to be honest. I mean, that might be judgmental, but I want a woman to believe in Christ. But outside of that, I really don't trip on a lot of that stuff, because looks fade after a while. And when
Ian, come on.
She wanted to hear my rant. She wanted to, because I said, wait till I can chime in on this. But as far as all that other stuff, and far as with women, like, he wasn't talking to women. He was talking to a specific type of person that called the show. That's really all it was. And that's why RJ liked it, because we ain't nobody gonna like a dude that sit there and just bash all women. You a cornball if you do shit like that. And he never did. None of the stuff.
Earl said woman knows everything. That's funny.
Pussy costs more than that.
Kerry Walker said it should be about constructive criticism. Said that's a dumb bitch that a man shouldn't talk to or entertain. I think that's what Kevin Samuels was trying to say. This is not the type of woman that you want to be with.
No, you don't want to be with women like that.
Let me see. Let me read the rest of this. Erica Hunt said men just need to admit that they like mindless virgin hoes. That's not true.
Oh God, you've heard that? Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe there's some men who do. I don't know. Maybe there's some. Sharita Shaw said he was the same as Cheyenne Bryant, currently projecting to be a life coach, but she just lied about being a doctor.
That's way different, though. She was bad. He wasn't bad. He at least was an image consultant. Yeah, that's not necessarily true, but very good point. Duly noted.
Erica life said, why would I date a man with no father experience, and I have 4 children, and I'm looking for him to eventually help me develop my children? Duh. You saying duh, but it ain't that simple. Once again, I was agreeing with you saying you shouldn't have to lower your standards, but I was saying you should be realistic about what your demands on going the other way. So, I mean, you can have standards as high as hell. It don't mean they're gonna get met.
What if she met a dude that ain't never have no kids because he couldn't, but he's motherfucking Bill Cosby reincarnated without the pill popping? You know what I'm saying?
Ewok said women forget that a man can leave if your ass doing too much. Women think they can dictate who they want to be with. Fantasy shit. Boy, this turned crazy quick. Kevin Samuels was an entertainer. We all know that negativity gets more views on social media. Which funds the pockets of these entertainers, so they're gonna say whatever they need to get the views. I agree with you, Kerry.
Oh, absolutely.
Erica says it's not that simple because men don't want to be fathers to their own kids. Why would they be fathers to somebody else's children?
She crazy.
Girl said, I care to know how much you make, so you don't need my money.
No. See,
I believe an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So I do want to make sure you have some motivation and some passion for something.
Yeah. When I say that, I'm just talking about what if you meet a woman that, she work at Walmart or something. I'm not gonna shit on her for working a job. Say she's a cashier or a server. I'm just throwing out examples. If you work at Walmart, I'm not insulting you. I'm just using it as an example. But the thing is, though, like you look at those quote unquote low skilled jobs or whatever, she could be the best person in white. And she might just want to be a person that works for a living every day. She might not aspire for shit. If I got the business and I done started the businesses and I'm doing this or whatever, and I can take care of us, you know what I mean? If I value you, it's all good. But no, if you got that same person with the same mentality that don't want to do nothing with their life, but the person and they making $12 an hour, and they telling you need to make $35 an hour or I ain't messing with you. Yeah, that's why that mentality is
right. No, we'll live off your 12 then.
Yeah, exactly.
Carrie said women contend with a lot of shit in the world of dating. Bullshit rolls upstream. Some men are not all that great. I don't put them down. I just get the fuck away. I ain't mad at you.
You
deserve the right to move around. Listen, man, it's Wednesday, so this is the only show we're gonna do this week. So we'll be back Monday, unless Monday is a holiday. I don't think it is, but we will be back next Monday. I just think, just closing out, I just looking at the news, and I'm seeing now that Floyd Mayweather is saying that he was robbed. He was a victim by one of his business associates to the tune of $175 million. It's in the People's News Network, but just to go back to some of the flossing that Floyd has over the years been just kind of doing, like showing up with briefcases of money and, I got $2 million watches and, I got 15 houses and all this kind of stuff. And we've often questioned on our show that if this is an age where we have more black billionaires and millionaires than we've ever had, why is our community still in dire straits? Well, this is kind of an answer to that question, because instead of investing in the community and investing back into the people, we chase false business deals and snake oil salesmen who just juke us out of our money. So coming to a ring near you pretty soon, and probably even the WWE, will be Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I hate to see it happen to him because the brother made so much money. And was
Over
such
$1 billion, Mr. Barnes. Over $1 billion.
right, and it's a shame that and he can blame the
Whoever you want.
thievery all he wants, but his spending habits have to at some point become part of this situation as well. So
He won't even bring it up.
there's a term that my father used to say to me all the time when he used to give me my little allowance, and I was one of them kids, man. I was an '80s kid, so I'm going to buy some GI Joes or some Intertech water guns or some comic books or some Nintendo games, and my father would give me my allowance every week, and he would say, man, save your money. A fool and his money soon part. And I always would just blow it off because I'm like, whatever, I'm on my way to get whatever I'm getting.
Yeah,
And now you truly understand that having money is only part of it. Keeping money is the most important part of it. And it's also the hardest thing to do.
it is.
I want to say rest in peace to Rob Bass, man, too. We heard Rob Bass. Rob Bass passed away this week. DJ Easy Rock, his DJ passed away a couple years ago. If you didn't grow up at the time that I grew up and heard It Takes
I want to
Two,
rock right now.
then you don't know
that's
you don't know who Rob Bass is. I want to say rest in peace to him. And I want to say God bless to everybody who's listening. I want to thank everybody for their opinion on the show. It's one of those things where on the show, you're never wrong because everything you say is your opinion, and your opinion can never be wrong. So, I hope nobody's offended or nobody's taking anything said on the show to the heart. I hope you heard something that entertained you, enlightened you, or that helps to empower you, man, because that's what Outlaw Radio is all about.
I'm offended, goddamn it, if you don't unbutton that collar before we get off this live.
I'm gonna say you about to get hung up on fucking with me about my shirt. So peace and love, man. I hope y'all have a good weekend, man. Y'all be safe. Keep your head on the swivel, man. Love on the people who you got here, man, because you don't know how much time you're gonna have with them, man. Other than that,
drink
man,
down here.
Listen, the one thing we need to understand is that if your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution to it, you got the game all fucked up, right? So be about it or be without it, man. I will see y'all Monday.
All right.
Monday it is.
All right,
All right,
yeah.
Peace out.
peace out.